All right, folks, here we go. So the kids cannot read, and the main reason for that is because, well, the kids realize that the AI could do it for them. Now, granted, I am an AI advocate, but I really personally don't like to replace my critical thinking with AI. I still like to think for myself. I still like to write things down. So I haven't replaced my brain entirely with AI. But I do enjoy collaborating with AI as if it is a person, like I'm collaborating with another individual. I treat AI as a private consultant, not as my brain per se. So I like to come up with my own ideas. I like to funnel those ideas into AI, have it evaluate the idea, and normally I just kind of go with it. Either way, I will say this though: AI can be one hell of an assister when it comes to evaluating different programs, like different pieces of software that I create, whether it's just simple scripts or something a little more elaborate. You know what I mean? I'm a huge fan of AI. I'm still going to defend AI, straight up, but I will say this. I think the one killer of attention span is got to be TikTok and actually any short form content, whether you're on Facebook watching short form content, whether you're on YouTube Shorts, whether you're on TikTok. I really do think that short form content is going to be the killer of the mind. That's my opinion on it. Oh, hold on. Popping my neck. Hold on. Oh, boy. But yeah, I do think short form content is a little bit of a killer when it comes down to it, of attention span. So, I mean, part of me wants to blame TikTok in its entirety, but a part of me doesn't want to do that either. And the reason for that is, one, everybody's got a choice to give in to this digital crack. And by the way, TikTok is absolutely digital crack, and we know it. We could skirt around the issue all that we want, but we all know that TikTok is virtual crack. Now, let's not kid ourselves, everybody. How's it going, Caleb? Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, though. We need more simps. And we need more pimps. And we need more simps. And we need everybody to like the stream, or I'll never be able to cream. What up, my brony? Give me just 1 second, though. Hey, thank you for the subscribe, Caleb. I appreciate it. Hello, Annie. How you doing? It's good to see everybody in the chat. I love it. We're just getting a few things prepared. Just give me a few more moments, everybody. Getting a couple things all squared away. It's good to see everybody coming in. No, we're talking. So here's the thing. I really do think that short form content kills attention span more than anything. And there's a lot of science to back this up. There's a lot of studies to back this up. And I feel like this is one of the reasons why I stay away from short form content in its entirety. I mean, I'll still watch a YouTube short every once in a while. I don't go on TikTok. I upload my short form content to TikTok. And by the way, I'm part of the problem. I'm part of the problem because I'm making YouTube shorts for everybody. And the reason I do that is because sadly that's where the audience is unfortunately at, is on the YouTube Shorts platform. And by the way, I enjoy making long form content, but sadly the demand for long form pre-recorded content is pretty much dead. I could say that for sure. That sort of content is basically dead. It's no longer coming back. Well, it's coming back. I mean, I could still make short form content and be fine. But I will say, no, I personally enjoy just doing these live streams. Doing the live streams gets a lot of views. I'll admit that. In fact, if it wasn't for these live streams, I probably wouldn't get the viewership that I'm getting. But yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to react to the fact that 40% of kids can't read and teachers are quitting.
I think we're
This is interesting, man.
going to go with you guys.
I'm going to pull it up here in just a second. I'm going to put the video on pause. But I saw this and I was like, dude. Well, I saw Asmund Gould reacting to it, but I decided instead of reacting to Asmund Gould's reaction video, I'm just going to actually react to the source video. And, I enjoy reacting to these things. And this is it's funny because my buddy Nathan and I, we were talking about this the other day, how, like, the world that our parents knew no longer exists. They can't, the old ways of thinking, it doesn't work anymore. It sort of does. There's certain things in which it does. Like, for example, when a boomer tells me that I need to work harder to buy a house, I want to bitch slap him in the face. I do. If a boomer tells me that I need to work harder just so that way I can afford to get a stupid house that's already overvalued, I'm not doing it. Because here's the thing. Real estate values have increased over time so rapidly, and wage growth has not. The problem is wage growth has basically been stagnant, whereas real estate growth has gone up through the roof. And you want to know why? One, the debasing of the dollar doesn't help. Two, it's not a good idea to rely on your employer for a raise. This is one of the reasons why I invest. Because my dividends increase, obviously. Maddie B getting money. What are you talking about, brother? Anyway, so the point I'm trying to make here is this. It's a pretty simple point. The reason that kids can't read is because the kids are unfortunately right. AI can do just about anything for you. I'm not saying that AI should do, just because AI can do everything for you, doesn't mean that AI should do everything for you. I think it's still good to critically think. You still want to try to be creative. One of the reasons that I don't really use my smartphone anymore as much as I used to is I felt like one, my smartphone was killing my attention span with all the dopamine rushes of all the notifications. Typically, I just kind of shut off the majority of the notifications because majority of these notifications are not important. Well, sometimes they are. If it's like regarding, if it's regarding the markets, I guess I'll take that. But yeah, damn, dude. I'm profiting off the downfall of Bitcoin, just to let everybody know. Just to let you guys know that Bitcoin is ClickCoin. I've been making some dough. I've been making lots of dough. I've been making lots of dough betting against Bitcoin. I love betting against Bitcoin, dude. I've also been swing trading gold and silver ETFs, which is kind of fun. That kind of gives me a bit of a Woody. But hey, let's keep watching.
Read if AI can read for me. Right now, 40% of fourth graders can't read. We're witnessing the collapse of the American education system.
I teach 8th grade history, and I have 110-ish students. 2 of them are reading on grade level right now. 18 of them are at a kindergarten level. 55 of those students are between a 2nd and 4th grade level. We were doing guided notes, supposed to be a real easy day. It was review. They wrote down Maryland was founded as a safe haven for Catholics. It was on the board. They wrote it down. And before we moved on, I call on a student and I ask, hey, where were the Catholics one more time? And these students, what they do is they look at me and then they look at their notes, and then they look at the board. They look back at their notes.
Well, and the problem is a lot of these kids are chilling out on TikTok. That's the problem. First off, their attention span is so cooked because their parents, and here's the thing, their parents probably don't have time to parent them. It's just the same way that my parents basically just kind of, weren't around. I was unsupervised a lot in a good way. I'm kind of glad I was. But, the only thing that really kind of killed my attention span potentially was TV. But I would just usually watch Star Trek on TV. Or I would go outside and just kind of play in the dirt somewhere. But, yeah, no, I would also hang out inside and chill out on the computer and shit when we got a computer. That was really cool. By the way, I love the early internet, just as a heads up. But yeah, no, what I'm saying is I feel like I grew up in the right time in the right place. I kind of feel lucky because I love, even though Oregon is a woke place, I feel lucky growing up where I grew up. I never left, and I'm not even sad about that. Like most people would feel sad about that, but honestly, if I need to leave, I just go to I go hang out in Eugene or something like that. Just get out of town for a bit, And, if I want to experience anything, I just kind of go experience shit. I just hang out in nature. And I think that's the thing, man. I just prefer to hang out in nature overall. But I don't know what's up with all these people in the chat. Yeah, I am mega. I'm about as mega as you can get, bro. But yeah, what's your point, man? I love Trump, and you know what? If you guys want to call me a bootlicker, go for it. I love Trump. Make sure you guys, if you guys can, please subscribe to the channel. The more subscribers we get, the better. It does help the channel grow in more ways than one. Loud. But thank you for subscribing. If you guys can, also tap the like button. The more likes we get, the better. It does help in so many freaking ways you have no idea. Just tapping the like button alone pushes us out on the algorithm so hard. So hard. Anyway, let's keep watching. Oh, also, give me a few moments. Let's listen to this.
And some of them never answered me. They never figured out the answer. It was wild. And I kept giving them hints, like rephrasing the question and saying, it's in your notes. We just wrote it down. Where are the Catholics? It's on the board. And they never got it. They can't read their own notes.
Yeah, it's because, like I said, their attention span is cooked. The reason that they can't read is because they're lazy parents. And, maybe their parents do work hard, but there's also, and I do think it's lazy parenting regardless, whether the parents are working their ass off somewhere and they just don't have time to really parent the kid. Also, it could be lazy nannies and lazy daycares. I don't think you're real. Look, if you're letting your kid on TikTok, you need to encourage them, hey, if you're going to be on TikTok, don't be a content consumer, be a content producer. That's what I would say. Obviously they can't produce content because they're a kid, but I would say hey, when you're older, maybe this might be a good idea. Not everybody wants to produce content like a crazy person, but yeah, I am a crazy person for producing content. I actually kind of am in today's age. Give me one moment. Okay, give me a few more seconds, and we're going to... But yeah, no, this is cray-cray. No, it's absolutely lazy parenting, for sure, critical. 509, yeah. No, and that's the thing, lazy parenting, it just starts at this. We'll just keep watching.
I don't mean their handwriting. I mean, they can't make heads or tails of it on the page. These kids have a frightening ability for information to go from their eyes to their hands and not pass through the brain.
Well, the reason it's not going to long-term memory is, like I said, they're getting quick dopamine hits all day long from either their smartphone or their tablet or something else. The problem is we're preparing the kids to be distracted. And with how much distraction there is in the world, I guess the main solution is this. It's not a bad thing to use AI, but it is a bad thing. It depends on how you're using AI, right? I'm lucky. I figured out AI. It's not hard. I actually love AI. It actually helps me run my YouTube business. But yeah, when something like that can help you run the business, it's really nice. It's not games, iPads, or short form content. It's parents. We had games. I had devices to stuff my head into. I grew up on all that. Kablam and SNL. That's basically all short. Not necessarily. Kablam and Saturday Night Live. What are we talking about here? That's not short form content. Are you kidding me? Poofus, that's actually a really stupid argument, and I'll tell you why it's stupid. Because those shows lasted at least 30 minutes. Kablam was, okay, I will admit, Kablam was on the side of short-form content to some degree, because it would bounce from one thing to another to another. But at least all those little skits were at least at the bare minimum 5 minutes. Most content on TikTok is like about a minute, 30 seconds to a minute to 45, 60 minutes, you name it. But because attention spans are so cooked and they're getting even more cooked, content gets shorter and shorter and shorter. And what people are doing is they're getting small doses of this, small doses of that. And we are literally killing our ability to have an attention span. One of the reasons why I read books so much, and you guys can call me an old man, that's totally fine. But the reason I love reading books so much, and I'm by the way, I have an iPad. I'm now an iPad kid at the ripe age of, I'm not going to tell you my age. But I'm now an iPad kid at an old age. And so no, I actually use I have an iPad mini that's completely outdated that I got recently, which was really cool. I got it for free. Shout out to my boy Riley. You the man. Yeah, I use it as an ebook reader, and I read full books on there, and it's nice. I don't mind reading from a screen, because even if you're reading from a screen, it just depends on what you're doing on that screen. If I'm doom scrolling TikTok all day, I'm kind of an idiot, in my opinion. I'm stupid. I'm a dum-dum if I do that. But if I'm actually, using it intelligently, which I hope I am, I would hope I am. But yeah, no, they can't even do math. My kid brought home homework in the new math format in full length with most of it problem solved. So here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. This is not actually to rag on the kids. I'm actually ragging on the adults. I'm ragging on the shitty parents. I don't think these kids are stupid. I really don't. The thing is, if I were to watch TikTok all day, I would probably become stupid. I would lose my ability to focus on anything. Seriously. So I stay away from short form content because I know it's bad for my mental health. I know it's gonna make me have a goldfish brain. So I try to I try not to consume too much content on YouTube either. I try to spend more time thinking, and I don't mind silence, by the way. I used to have trouble sitting in a silent room because I was always kind of, I was always kind of geared to have something on in the background. And then what I realized that because of my upbringing, there was always music playing in the house, or there was always the TV on in the background. And I realized that by not having the TV on and not having the music playing and being alone in my own thoughts, that helped a lot. I think the problem is people choose not to be alone in their own thoughts. And they always make the excuse of, well, I'm afraid of who I really am. I'm afraid to be alone with my thoughts. It's like, how can you be yourself and be afraid of yourself? I've always, I can understand to some degree if maybe you feel like you might be a psychopath, but at the end of the day, I don't think the kids are actually dumb. I think the parents are just bad parents. And the parents don't realize the neuroscience behind what they're doing to their kids. They don't realize that. And like, look, I'm not saying don't use AI. I'm just saying tell them that short form content is stupid to consume, and that there's always going to be dum-dums who want to consume TikTok or YouTube shorts or whatever. So if you don't consume the content, produce the content, to be honest. And that's what I do. I don't consume YouTube shorts. I produce YouTube shorts. I don't watch TikTok video short. I don't watch TikTok shit. I make TikTok shit. You know, and I don't really go on TikTok. It's so funny. Any long form content that I turn to short form content using my Opus Clip AI editor. By the way, this is AI done right, by the way. So, for example, I rely on AI to turn my long form slop content into short form slop content. And then it edits my videos for me. It saves me time. It really does. I hate video editing with a passion, and if the AI can do it better than me, that's fine. I will outsource it because I'm not a fan of video editing. It's really a time thing. I can do it, and I do have the ability to do it. But if the AI can do it better than me, and I don't have to hire some random guy to edit my videos, yeah, I'll pay the money to the AI. And by the way, a lot of these services are pretty inexpensive, so it's a win-win situation. Oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. I contribute to the problem for sure, and that's why I'm admitting this to you guys now. I want to be honest and transparent. I'm contributing to the problem because this is where all the eyeballs are at, unfortunately. Now, it's a choice as consumers. Consumers need to look at themselves in the mirror and think, well, what sort of content do I want to consume? Do I want to continue consuming this vertical slop that I'm watching on my phone? Or do I want to try something a little bit better? What do I want to try? What do you want to try? It really depends.
At all. What do we do?
You guys, don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel. It does help the channel grow. We're almost to 7,000 subscribers. So if you can do that, it's a big help. It's a big ask, I know, but let's keep reacting.
Y'all, that ship is sailing across the ocean and there is no one at the wheel.
Liberty Mutual customizes.
Yes, I don't have YouTube Premium, I know.
Verifying the information goes through their eyes, down through their hands, without passing through their brains. But this isn't an isolated incident. This is nationwide. I looked up the actual numbers. Only 23% of fourth graders can read at a proficient level. Just 23%. Then we have the eighth graders. Only 26% are reading proficiently. After all the reforms, adding technology into the classrooms, and debating about funding, we're now at 40%. We didn't get better. We made it worse.
And this is why I'm glad the Department of Education's gone. Because clearly the Department of Education wasn't doing anything. You could argue that the Department of Education helped contribute to kids' stupidity. I really do. Honestly, think about it. When people were pissed about the Department of Education being defunded and basically removed, why were people pissed? In fact, people should have been celebrating in the streets because it's clear that teachers aren't doing their job, or at least they're not doing it properly. Parents aren't doing their job either because they're basically sitting these kids in front of a tablet telling them to go on TikTok and watch Skibbity Toilet and 6-7 shit all day. And brain rot is real. TikTok all short form content really does cause brain rot, and nobody wants to talk about this. It's an uncomfortable truth, I know. Hey, what up, Ronan? We got Ronan in the house saying, Garza, sup, BB. What up, brony? My brony bro. You're a pink brony bro. And you dance at the gay club. Oh, my God. I'm just having fun. Let's keep going.
I've been teaching since 1993. And yes, we have always had kids who struggle to focus. But what's happening now is on a whole...
Well, and like I said, the reason they're struggling to focus is they're so used to the short form slop that they're seeing on TikTok. 15-second long videos, 20-second long videos. What it does to the brain is real. And I say get your kids off of TikTok. Seriously. If you want them to use AI, if you want them to use ChatGPT, I'm okay with that because I think that AI is going to be prevalent in the world. I would just let them know that the best thing you could use ChatGPT for and use it as is like a consultant. And that's about it. Like a consultant for business but don't let it just think for you. You know what I mean? Try to figure out if you're having trouble figuring out a math problem, do the best you can to try to solve it yourself. And then ask ChatGPT, how do I actually solve this problem? What are the steps I need to take to solve this math equation? For example, Ronan says, missed you for a few days. How's it been? Yeah, it's been pretty good, man. No, it's good. It's okay, man. By the way, I want to let everybody know who's a subscriber. I don't expect you guys to always be on. It's okay. I don't always stream every day either, so it happens. Ronan says kids should be applying themselves outside and not inside. Yeah. Yeah, I know. And here's the thing, man. I think sitting around inside and watching TikTok AI slop and shit, bad for your mental health, dude. I purposely stay off of TikTok because I think it's bad for my mental health, and I don't want brain rot. I don't want brain rot, so I stay off of TikTok.
Whole other level. Do you remember how it used to feel when the teacher would pull out the cart with the big TV and the VCR attached?
Oh my God, that's some level of nostalgia right there. That's a level of freaking nostalgia. I remember that, man. I remember that, dude. The freaking the big old box TV on the big old cart rolling on into the classroom. That shit was pretty cool. It's like, oh, we're watching a movie today. Hell yeah. And you know, I feel lucky to grow up when I grew up because we were kind of the early adopters of some of the technology, but a lot of it was still in its infancy. You know, I'm really happy that I got to grow up during the NES era, you know, Game Boy era, Sega Genesis era, you know. Yeah, and here's the thing. All short form content I think is bad. I really do. Even YouTube shorts. I'm going to say this, and I feel bad, but I make YouTube shorts only because that's where the eyeballs are statistically at. And I'm contributing to the problem. I really think short form content is poison to the mind. I really do. And obviously YouTube has to adapt. I'm pretty sure most of the CEOs and big wigs at YouTube, for example, probably are very aware that YouTube short content is bad. Absolutely terrible. Without a doubt. But yeah, no, I have short form content, and there's actual real science to back this up. Turns you into a zombie, a brain rot zombie. And you see a lot of these brain rot zombies down in Minnesota that are rioting. These are the people who go on TikTok all day. These are the people who go on like Facebook groups and complain about Trump. Anyway, we'll get off of that wagon.
Yeah, not anymore. Now I've got kids asking to skip it. They literally can't just sit and watch.
I'm a 90s kid, so I know exactly what she's talking about. When that rinky-dink TV rolled into the classroom, that was the best day ever. But today's kids are overstimulated. TV is not cutting it. When we were growing up, they said we watched too many cartoons. Now kids don't even want cartoons. It's not enough stimulation. They get bored. Kids today are growing up watching Cocomelon and YouTube Shorts, content that's meant...
Skibbity toilet, dude! Skibbity toilet! Oh my God, we got skibbity toilet, dude! Oh, dude, the AI slot, man, I can't, dude. I think the best thing that people can do is just stay off of TikTok. You know, if you want to be on YouTube, fine, but I try to avoid YouTube Shorts when at all possible. I can't stand the brain rot, dude. I just can't. And one of the reasons I still read books the way I do, because I try to read at least 30 minutes a day. I try to read actual books, or I read ebooks on my old school iPad, one or the other. Because I have an iPad Mini as an ebook reader. It's an outdated iPad, but it's an outdated one. But I love my outdated shit, and the reason is because anything that kills my attention span, I don't want any part of it. Because if I'm on TikTok all day, my attention span is cooked. Right? Here's the problem with TikTok. There's no other forms of content to explore on TikTok except for the vertical content, right? And here's the thing, man. If you have an ebook reader, use it. I actually use my iPad mini to stay off of my phone. Because if I need some screen time, I'm going to read an ebook. I'm trying not to even watch as many YouTube videos as I normally would. And I told myself, if I'm going to watch any YouTube videos, I'm going to react to them during my live stream. That's about the extent of it. And, yeah.
To hold attention for.
Oh, also, by the way, you guys, if you guys can, please subscribe to the channel. It does help the channel grow. We're almost to 7,000 subscribers. We're right there. But yeah, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help. And if you can, like the stream too. Liking the stream goes a long way, and it keeps us afloat, without a doubt. Brian's like, what's a book? It's a good one. But, you know, I mean, like, dude, Skibbity Toilet. This is an example of AI brain rot. This is AI slop, dude. AI slop. We all love Skibbity Toilet, don't we? We all love Skibbity frickin' Toilet.
For seconds at a time.
Oh my God. Bro was praying to the Skibbity gods.
And now we're asking them to sit in a classroom for hours with no screens and no stimulation. Of course, they're going to roam around yelling 6, 7. They're having withdrawal symptoms.
Honey, teaching kids isn't the same anymore. It's just not. Used to be kids would listen to teachers simply because they were teachers. That was the respect of it all. Now, no, honey. I got to keep the kids constantly engaged. Not even just engaged, but almost overstimulated. The candy isn't even working anymore. Giving out candy for positive reinforcement doesn't even work anymore. They don't care about that.
I think they just need to... I'm serious when I say this. I do think that they should bring back actual physical notebooks. Make notebooks great again. And I'm not talking about a Chrome notebook, you know what I mean? I'm talking about actual paper to pencil. Here's the thing: if you type if you type on a like, if I started typing notes, let's say this is an iPad. It isn't, but let's say this is an iPad, and I start typing notes into this. I'm not going to remember any of the notes that I typed in because there's no tactile interface. Your brain remembers things when you physically write the notes. Way better than you would if you type the notes. It's scientifically proven. Even Sam Altman, by the way, the CEO of OpenAI, writes down notes daily in an actual physical freaking notebook that he carries with him everywhere. You want to know why? Because neurologically speaking, you're going to remember and think better when you write. Writing matters, and not for anybody else, but for yourself. I'm not saying write an essay. I'm just saying handwritten notes, even if the notes are sloppy or BS, it's better to handwrite and try to think than not think at all. It's better to try to critically think and then not. Critically thinking is messy, by the way. It's not meant to be perfect, but critically thinking is meant to be critical thinking is meant to be messy. Because you're exploring, because critical thinking requires exploring and wandering through ideas, putting things together. Right? Now, and critical thinking is, I mean, hey, look, if your kid has, by the way, I'm going to say this. If your kid has the ability to use AI, but also still has the ability to critically think, that's a good thing. I do believe that you can use AI and be a critical thinker. I feel like I'm proof positive of this. I still have the ability to think about an idea very clearly, come up with my own conclusions. Original thought doesn't have to die because you use AI. Oh, that would actually be a good rap lyric. Original thought doesn't have to die just because you're using frickin' AI. Oh, I don't know. Anyways, let's take a moment to pray to the Skibbity Toilet gods.
Girl, I'm using chimpanzini bananini just to get my kids' attention, just so they'll look at me. Hello, hello. Girl,
it's an AI. Oh, what the hell? It's an AI-generated brain rot character.
why I got kids saying 6-7 repeatedly. They don't even know how to spell 6-7.
Here's the problem. You know, I know that you're bewildered by this, but you do realize that TikTok's the problem here. You do realize that all you have to do is just acknowledge that this form content where you're like viewing, where you're like actually like viewing it like this. I mean, if you're viewing content like this, you at least don't totally kill your visual acuity. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man.
Catching me doing this mid lecture, just to see if they're paying attention. You watching? Hello, we there? Girl, it's so bad now. It's so bad.
TVs don't work. Candy isn't working. The only thing that grabs their
I mean, candy might be the problem. They're gonna have a sugar crash out. So you're giving them candy, and you're giving them skibbity toilets. All right. So what are we doing here? But yeah, no. What's happening is the kids are getting dumber because we have made them dumber. And I think I don't want to make fun of the kids. I actually feel bad for these kids having shitty parents. And here's the problem. We live in what's called enabling culture. And this is why I hate therapy culture so much. This is why I don't go to therapy. I'm not saying that as like any sort of medical advice. This is just my own personal preference in life. So talk to a doctor about therapy. Whether it's right for you. But my personal preference is I can't stand therapy culture. I think it is so ass backwards. It pisses me off to no end. Therapy culture, I think, first off, I think therapists are enablers. That's what I think. I think therapists are just enablers. Think about it. Well, not even just therapists. We're talking about psychiatrists. The only difference, in my opinion, between a psychiatrist and a therapist is one can give you hardcore drugs to treat you for something that you don't probably have, just because they get a kickback from the drug companies. So yeah, I can't stand therapy. I think therapy culture, in my opinion, just needs to crash and burn and die. That's what I would think, but let's keep going.
attention is TikTok memes.
Scimpanzini bananini, wah wah wah, bananucci, monkey 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 ucci.
Stop it, please. Oh my God, what is this? I'm so glad I don't know what's happening on TikTok. And everybody says, well, Mike, why don't you go on TikTok? Why don't you get with the times? How about the times get with me? How about the times get with me? And to all you guys saying that I need to get with the times, how about the times get with me? Because I'm clearly ahead of the game and everybody is lagging behind. If you're going on TikTok and this is what you're watching, yeah, I'm already ahead of the curve, dude. I'm already ahead of the curve in life. Because I'm not watching bullshit. I'm not going on here. I'm not going on TikTok watching Skibbity Toilet. I'm not going on TikTok killing my attention span. And the reason people can't focus, I say kill TikTok. I'm not saying the company needs to shut down or anything. I'm saying that we as the consumer need to take responsibility for killing our own attention span and just delete the TikTok app. And also, if you're going on YouTube, don't go on YouTube Shorts. You could go on YouTube, just avoid the short form content and just go for long form content only. Also, if you watch YouTube, just don't watch it from your smartphone. The only thing I use my smartphone for is business purposes. If I'm swing trading stocks, that's the only thing I even use my smartphone for anymore. And I make money using my smartphone by swing trading gold ETFs, silver ETFs, and VT. That's about it. I make quick bucks by swing trading the volatility of those things. But yeah, no, I do think that a lot of short form content is killing attention spans to no end. I mean, really, it's quite insane if you think about it. But yeah, no, what we're looking at, this is AI slop. I'm ahead of the curve, dude. I'm ahead of the curve. I'm not on TikTok, and I think the heavens above that I'm on TikTok and I'm not watching this bullshit. I read actual books that make my life better. Also, you guys, if you guys can, send me a few gifts. If I get 50 gifts, in the next 34 minutes, then I will sing a hot song. I might even sing the thong song. I'll sing a song to you guys, though. So if we get 50 gifts in the next 34 minutes, I will sing a song of any kind, almost any kind. I might even sing. I might even make a song dedicated to Skibbity Toilet. You know, I might make a song dedicated to Skibbity Toilet. Not kidding. I'll do it. I might just do it. All right, you guys ready? Okay, let's keep watching this this AI slop. This is crazy, man. All I'm trying to ask is, what has the world come to? What has the world freaking come to, man? And I try to figure it out. Look, I'm not trying to be the old man telling everybody to. I really am not. I'm not trying to be the old man telling you guys that. Well, I think the content sucks on TikTok. I really do. I don't understand why people want to watch this shit. Like, what is this shit? This is slop. Let's keep going.
Chimpanzini cocosini. Wah wah wah. Boop boop bada bim. Coconucci monkey 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 yuchi.
When I think about how I divide my
That hurts, dude.
Requiring users to be 13, kids are on them way earlier. One study found that a quarter of kids aged 11 to 15 said they use social media to forget about their problem.
What problems do you actually have at that age? I mean, sure. I mean, look, I will admit, I don't know every kid's home life, obviously, because they have shitty parents. If they're on social media and their parents aren't aware that they're on social media at that age, I mean, clearly the parents are too stupid. But let's just Here, Skibbity Toilet. One moment. I just can't anymore, man. Ugh. Let's keep going.
17% said they tried to cut back but couldn't. These kids are describing addiction. Gen Z was the first generation to grow up on social media, and they're the most anxious, most depressed, loneliest generation on record. And now Gen Alpha isn't just...
I will say that I'm proud of Gen Z because there's a lot of them that are just getting off of social media completely. There's a movement. There is a huge movement. Oh, it's absolutely the parents' fault. Look, you got to at least have some interest in what your kids are doing. Some. And if they're on TikTok and they're on Facebook or what, I don't think kids are on Facebook. I think they're pretty much on Snapchat or TikTok, I'm assuming. But if your kids are consuming this idiocy, you're a bad parent. Look yourself in the mirror and just be like, hey, you know what? I got to admit this to myself. I'm a shitty parent. And by the way, please subscribe to the channel. Let's keep going.
Growing up on social media, they also have generative AI.
Okay, this is becoming a genuinely concerning issue. As a substitute teacher, I am encountering a really concerning number of students who truly do not see any value in learning because, as one of the 4th and 5th graders that I was teaching the other day asked me, why do I need to know any of this if a computer or AI can do it for me? A little girl didn't want...
I'm not going to lie, that's actually, just to give a heads up, the little girl that asked this teacher the question isn't necessarily in the wrong for asking it. Because why? And the thing is, and I was watching Asmongold's reaction a little bit ago, and he was right about one thing. These teachers can't provide a valid answer for it. They can't provide a valid answer for why they need to learn this. And therefore, the kids are not interested. Like, seriously. And I try to think to myself, if I was a kid growing up in this generation, where basically almost everything's handed to me. I mean, I get the answers instantly through ChatGPT. I get to watch Skibbity Toilet and Chimpanzee Banana. Interesting. So I really don't think the kids are stupid. I think that parents are making their children stupid by allowing them to go on TikTok, by not teaching them some form of logic, some form of reasoning, right? And also explaining why some of the stuff that they need to learn is important. I think the problem is, honestly, it's like the old saying back in the day. It's like, you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket, so you're going to need to learn to do math. It's like, we now have calculators in our pockets. So the problem with teachers, and I'll admit this, I've always had a problem with public school teachers because I think that I think that public school teachers are dumb. I really do. I think that public school teachers, I have no respect. I do have some respect for some teachers because I feel like they weren't too shitty. For example, my buddy Nathan, his dad was a teacher, retired now. He retired as a teacher, but I think he actually has the ability to critically think. I've had conversations with him. I think it's a shame that he doesn't teach still, but he obviously doesn't want to teach anymore because of the way society is. And I think a lot of the blame falls on the parents. So that's the way I see it. I think people should blame the parents. The kids aren't stupid. The parents are bad parents, and they're making their kids stupid by allowing them to go on TikTok. I'm putting pieces together, people. I'm putting pieces together. I understand parents get busy. They can't watch their kids all the time. They're working. I get that. Totally understandable. But at the same time, have a little bit of interest in what your kid is consuming. Because if they're consuming all this AI slop on TikTok, it's not good for their brain. And you're going to have a very incompetent child, and they're going to screw their own brain. That's what's going to happen. They're going to mess up their brain.
Want to learn how to read, because why would she need to when she could have the computer read it to her, or when she could just take a picture of her math problem and have the AI do it for her?
It's not necessarily, the kid's not wrong. The problem is the teachers really don't have a legitimate answer as to why should you learn this? Because here's the thing. Human beings, no matter what age they are, by the way, human beings need incentive. What's in it? Basically, what's in it for me? Because everybody's like this. I don't care who you are. I'm like that. I need a reason to do something. What is in it for me? And not everybody, look, I don't even think it's selfish to be like that. We all have to look out for ourselves to some degree, and we have to ask ourselves, what is in it for me? And the child is asking a great question. Yeah, what is in it for me? I can have the AI solve this. Can you give me an answer as to why I need to learn this garbage? Sure. And so I think that kids are getting dumber not only by the devices that they're using and the content they're consuming, but they're getting dumb. And the reason they're getting dumber is because parents don't monitor any of it. Parents are so hands off at this point with their kids because they don't know how to raise them. And honestly, I'm not. And kudos to parents for at least trying, but for God's sakes, man, don't allow your kids to watch short form content. And I would say maybe keep them off the tablet. And look, if they want to use AI, okay, fine. Because, you kind of have to prepare them for what the world's going to be. And I'm not going to lie, AI is going to take a lot of jobs. AI is getting better and better every day, which is one of the reasons why first off, this is one of the reasons why I invest the way I invest. I've become a very good swing trader because I realize that at the end of the day, AI is taking over. And so the only thing I could do is learn how to swing trade safe assets and make money every day through that. Because I don't know if universal basic income is going to be a thing. And I've learned how to do YouTube excessively well. And I've become very successful at YouTube. And I've become very successful at other things too. So I'm kind of preparing my world. I'm preparing myself for a world that is going to exist. And I think that parents need to take a little more interest in what their kids are doing and prepare them for what is actually going to happen in the world. AI is taken over, and there's not a damn thing you can really do about it. There really isn't. Revolutions in technology are always going to happen. You either get with the times or you get left behind to some degree. And there's some things, by the way, there's some things that I don't get behind. I think TikTok is stupid. I really do. I think TikTok is going to die. I think there's going to be an entire movement where people are going to say no to short form content, and they should. Short form content kills your attention span. It really does. If you guys can, please subscribe to the channel. We're almost to 7,000 subscribers. Once again, almost to 7,000 subs. Actually, let me put something up real quick.
This is a legitimate issue.
Children do not have fully developed reasoning abilities. Their brains just aren't developed. We can just take a look at the subreddit Kids Are Stupid to see proof that kids do not think long term. They don't.
Well, yeah, and they can't. And by the way, it's kind of unfair to just be like, oh, kids are dumb. By the way, to everybody who's watching this, put yourself in a certain position here, right?
Have the mental capacity to fully think through their actions. So how is a teacher supposed to convince?
Put yourself in a certain mental frame. Put yourself in a certain mental frame for just a second, all right? For just a second. Imagine that you yourself, if you're like, let's say you're age 30 through 40 or whatever, right? Imagine that you grew up with an iPad in your hand, and we're told it's okay to go on TikTok, and we're pressured by everybody around you to go on stupid things like TikTok, right? What do you think would happen to you? You would be a brain-dead zombie, just like these kids. So the kids aren't stupid. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Adults are turning these kids into brain-dead morons. That's the point I'm trying to make. Don't let your kids use TikTok. It's that simple. Don't let your kids watch YouTube Shorts. It's that simple. Short form content kills your brain.
Convince a student to learn how to read when that student believes that the AI can just read for them? How do they convince them to learn to write when they can talk to ChatGPT and it'll write for them? Spelling, why bother? Grammar, who cares? History, civics, critical thinking. The AI has all the answers. And all a child sees is a path of least.
And it's true. I mean, the kids, by the way, kids don't have critical thinking abilities because what are they? They're kids. See what I'm saying? Like, it's like, and that's why I can't stand it when people say it's all the kid's fault. No, honestly, it's the parents' fault. Parents need to buck up and be like, yeah, I raised my kid to be a brain-dead zombie because all they do is go on TikTok and look up Skibbity Toilet all day. I don't know, invest in your kid's life a little bit. And that's the biggest problem to me, is that these parents don't even want to invest in their own kids' lives at all.
Resistance. They don't understand that to struggle is to learn and to grow.
What are you?
Yeah, struggle's a good thing, by the way.
I know, but what are you doing?
I'm doing school.
Are you doing school on ChatGPT? How old are you?
3.
And what are these children hearing from the adults about AI? AI is...
It's so interesting because if you think about it this way, Think about it this way. Asmund Gould actually made a really good point, because he said if he had kids, he would actually teach them how to use AI as soon as possible. Because that's just by the way, that's just the world that we're going to be living in, whether people want to admit it or not. You either get with the times or get left behind. Now, here's the thing. You're probably wondering, why am I all for AI but not for TikTok? Well, because I think AI, if used correctly, can actually be advantageous as long as you don't use it to replace your brain and use it as a consultant. So, for example, I treat the AI just as I would any other person that I speak with. Like if I did a collaboration with my buddy Nathan, like if I was collaborating with him and working on a project with him for whatever project it may be, I would be talking to him, right? I would be interacting with him. I'd be like, hey, what do you think of this idea? We would be bouncing ideas off of each other. I do the same thing with AI. I do the exact same thing with AI, actually. So I don't use AI to replace my brain. I collaborate with AI and I treat it like a person, right? I treat it like a person. Absolutely, 100%. I say please and thank you to it, because the moment that you treat it like a person is the moment that you don't become super dependent on it. And also, I think it's just the polite thing to do. Obviously, the AI has no feelings, but you still want to, you know what I mean? When you're talking to AI, you don't want it to be your servant. You don't want it to think for you. You want to collaborate with it. And I think that people tend not to collaborate with AI. They tend to just be like, give me the answer, please. Whereas I like to critically think, and then I like to ask AI, like, here, take a look at my work. What do you think? This is what I think of it, but what do you think? You know. And by the way, I take a lot of the stuff that AI says with a grain of salt. I'm not purely reliant on AI, is what I'm saying. And I don't think anybody really should be purely reliant on it. I think it's a bad idea.
It's going to change everything. AI makes you so much more efficient. AI can do it for you. Why would a child...
I will say that AI has helped the YouTube channel a lot. And the reason it has is because I have gray areas when it comes to my marketing abilities. I legitimately have gray areas when it comes to my knowledge on marketing. So I have to use AI as a marketing consultant, because I'm not going to lie. I understand marketing concepts and I actually know how to implement them, but I will say this, working with ChatGPT has turned me into a marketing expert. All because I worked with ChatGPT to try to solve problems. Because, not going to lie, I'm not the best marketer in the world. I kind of suck at it. But all I have to do is pay $20 a month for ChatGPT, and suddenly I'm a great marketer. All because it showed me different concepts in marketing, showed me how to market better, taught me. It basically was almost like working with an actual marketer. And that's why I collaborate with AI. I'm like, look, I don't want you to solve all the problems for me. I want to work with you, though. And I'll ask it questions. I try to ask very intelligent questions, and when I get the answer from the AI, I really deeply think about the answer that's provided. I critically think about the answer. Look, it does matter. Critical thinking still matters. It's not dead. It doesn't have to be dead just because you're using AI. I believe both things can be true, is what I'm trying to say. You can have AI,
invest in learning when
and you can have critical thinking. I wanted to finish that thought.
Every adult around them is saying that machines will do it better. We're creating learned helplessness.
Oh, by the way, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, and we're really trying to increase visibility on this channel. So liking the stream helps a lot. Subscribing to the channel helps a lot. So whatever you guys can do, it really helps quite a bit. So whatever you guys can do, please tap the like button.
At scale.
I'm going to start with saying that teachers are not afraid of AI because we hate technology. We are scared because we are watching critical thinking disappear in real time.
And by the way, critical thinking, and this is where the teachers, I believe, have a very... The teachers have a limited point of view on this, and they don't... And I think the problem is these teachers aren't using AI the way that I'm using it. And I could be... I wish people would study what I do, because I still have the ability to critically think. I have the ability to form my own thoughts. Do you see me like constantly going on ChatGPT while we're talking? I'm watching this video and I'm giving my input, right? But I'm not going on here being like, okay, ChatGPT, what do I tell my audience? How do I respond to my audience after watching this clip? No, I search my brain. I search my knowledge base. I go with my experience. I go with whatever I know. And if I don't know something, I fill in the blanks. I put two and two together. I use pattern recognition. You can't know everything, so you have to make assumptions, right? This is why, by the way, I love assuming things, because by the way, what is a hypothesis, everybody? It's basically an assumption. A hypothesis is an assumption, so when you have an assumption, you like to test the assumption, right? So I like to test my assumptions through different scientific methods, right? And I do use the scientific method on a day-to-day basis. If I have an assumption, I test it. I come up with my hypothesis, and then I come up with my tests to figure out if my hypothesis is true or not, right? Critical thinking doesn't have to die because you use AI. And I'm going to repeat that again. Critical thinking doesn't have to die because you use AI. It's that simple. It doesn't have to die.
When I was in high school, my math teachers would say, you got to know how to do this because you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket. Well,
guess what? We have a calculator in our pocket now. So it goes to show you that public school teachers will always be behind the times. And the best thing that you can do is not rely on school for your education, because the school system is always going to be several steps behind. If you want to get ahead of the curve, you need to just know how to learn. Period. End of story. Here's the thing. Critical thinking can be taught. It can be. Pattern recognition can also be taught too. Now, parents are not helping these teachers in the sense that they're basically telling these kids to go on TikTok. And the irony is, can I tell you the irony to this? These teachers who are telling the kids, or basically saying these kids are stupid. Did you notice that this gal who made this video is on TikTok? Does she not? She clearly doesn't have the ability to pattern recognize, because she doesn't realize that this is making kids stupid. TikTok, in any short form content that you see, by the way, is killing attention spans. It really is. And that's why you see kids crashing out so quickly. They can't think about anything for more than 2 seconds. And reading is a good thing. Bring back, look, if kids want to read an ebook on an iPad, that's fine. But I think here's what parents need to do. What parents need to do is this. They need to make the iPad only have one app on it. And you know what that app needs to be? It needs to be an ebook reader. And these iPads that you're giving the kids, do not give them any other options but the ebook reader. And if you need to, put parental controls on there that make it to where they can't install any apps, only can read ebooks on the tablet. If you make it to where they can go on TikTok or browse the internet, that's a problem. You need to make it to where even the internet browsing is restricted. You just need to make it to where all they can do is read ebooks. And if they want an ebook on there to be on there, influencers, I feel like it's possible that there are, I don't know if there are kids watching this right now, but kids, don't let your parents make you stupider, okay? Please, for the love of God. I know that you want to watch your Skibbity Toilet. I know you want to watch the Chimpanzee Banana, whatever the frick you guys are watching. I don't think the kids are dumb. I think the parents suck at parenting. I think the parents are dumb, quite frankly. But yeah, no, I think the parents are stupid beyond all repair.
Guess what? I have a calculator in my pocket at all times. But what I've realized is that it's not a fair comparison because calculators replace computation after we learned how math worked. AI shows up.
She's right, but she's also wrong in this sense. Obviously, you learn things like long division, you learn things like multiplication, I think it's good to still be able to do math on your own. I think it's good to understand the fundamentals of algebra. I mean, me personally, because I'm not going to lie, I enjoy I enjoy software programming, for example. Even though the AI could do most of the stuff that I want to do, I do it as a hobby more than anything because I think it's good to still practice logic. And I will say, learning programming like C++, Java, even Python, has taught me to be a critical thinker in a lot of ways, and I respect it, man.
Before students ever learn how to think through a problem, what we are witnessing is that students are now incapable.
I never leered, by the way. I never leered my lesson.
In sitting in any kind of intellectual discomfort, and that's concerning.
And yeah, it's because, like I said, overstimulation. And by the way, the kids are not the problem here. By the way, the kids are not the problem. It's the parents that are the problem. We live, and I'm gonna coin this phrase today, and I don't know if it's been coined yet, but I'm gonna coin this phrase today. Enabling culture. Enabling culture. I want to repeat it. Enabling culture, right? What do I mean by enabling culture? What I mean by enabling culture is this. Parents are enablers of bad habits these days. Parents are willingly allowing their kids to go on TikTok, knowing that TikTok is going to rot their brains to the core. Parents are letting kids use AI without teaching them how to use AI properly or learning how to use AI properly. You got to collaborate with AI. You don't want the AI to think for you. You want to talk to the AI like it's a person. That's the way. And by the way, this is not medical advice. This is my opinion, right? I collaborate with AI. I don't use AI to replace my brain. I'm proud of my creative abilities. I don't want to lose them. But at the same time, I know that I have weaknesses in certain areas of my life. One of those weaknesses is erectile dysfunction. Just kidding. But I need Viagra. No, but one of my weaknesses is marketing. I really don't think I'm that great of a marketer. I don't think I'm that great of a marketer. I think I kind of suck at it sometimes. And because of that, I wanted to become a better marketer, so I collaborated with ChatGPT on how to become a better marketer. What am I doing wrong here? In fact, I would actually feed my YouTube titles that I thought were good to ChatGPT, and I would look at the alternatives it would provide. I would have ChatGPT rate my YouTube titles that I would give it, and it would be like, well, here's some stronger alternatives. And I was like, I would read the alternatives, and I would actually think critically about what the AI was giving me. So you can still use AI and think critically. It's not impossible. You just can't be reliant on the AI to think for you.
This is what people miss when they compare AI to calculators. It's not just math, it's literally every subject, including thinking itself. And we now have more research on AI and cognition.
And by the way, AI has tutored me in certain subjects better than any teacher could. I don't even need to go to college, theoretically. I don't think anybody needs to go to college because you're not really going to learn shit. Just read the textbook and just try to understand the concepts that you're reading in the textbook. And I know some people have trouble reading. That's fine, for whatever reasons. But I don't know. This is the way I see the world. It's a little cray cray. I know. Am I wild for thinking what I think? I don't know.
Students who use AI show weaker reasoning skills. They accept answers without questioning them. Research.
And here's the thing, how do you solve that problem? Because AI is not going anywhere. So you can't just tell kids to stop using AI. I think the problem is they're not using AI in a way that allows them to keep their brains intact. This is why I still recommend people read. I think reading is good. I think filling your mind with in understanding concepts, actual concepts. And here's the thing, I read for information. I don't read for pleasure. I guess you could say that my reading for information is pleasurable. So in a weird way, I do read for pleasure in the sense that reading for information gives me great pleasure. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is this. The kids these days, and I'm not even hating on the kids. I actually honestly feel nothing but empathy right now because your parents suck. Your parents suck. They're just terrible, dude. They're putting you in front of these fucking devices, turning you into degenerate little iPad kids. And by the way, I think TikTok is not good. Honestly, you can blame AI for the cognition issues that kids are facing. But honestly, I think you need to take a step further and acknowledge that what the real problem is the fact that these kids are on TikTok and they're killing their own attention span. In a lot of ways, I think that it's not even AI that's killing their attention spans. It's the fact that they're on TikTok all the time, doom scrolling. I think that's... in fact, I bet if you were to also... Here's the thing. If they were to also... I think they need to ask... See, it says university students who use large language models to complete writing and research tasks experienced reduced cognitive load but demonstrated poorer reasoning and augmentation skills compared to those students using traditional search methods. How about this? How many of those kids that were using the large language models, or students or whatever, the university students, how many of them were also on TikTok? You need to ask that question to them. How often do you go on TikTok? Because I think that their attention span is killed due to TikTok more than the AI. I will admit, if I'm collaborating with AI, I don't do it often. I still read books. I still like to keep my attention span. But I do believe that I've grown my YouTube business because of AI. And that is the truth. I 100%, well, I would say 60% of this YouTube channel's success is because I used AI as a marketing consultant. I use ChatGPT as a marketing consultant, and I'm not even afraid to admit that. I'm not embarrassed by that fact either. That's the one thing. I'm not even embarrassed by that fact. And I think, why should I be? I'm just not, Oh, we have 1 minute and, hold on. Give me a second, you guys. We got 1 minute and 22 seconds to get 50 gifts. I don't think we're going to get it. I could sing a hot song, but I don't think we're going to get 50 gifts in a minute. I don't think that's possible. Okay, Corey is asking, Garza, hit me with a post-workout breakdown. 30-minute incline walk. Let's see what Corey's doing real quick. Let's take a quick break from watching this because I'm curious what Corey. So Corey, my boy, Corey, we'll call him Corey H. I don't want you guys to harass my boy Corey. So we'll just say Corey H. My boy Corey H. is saying, Garza, hit me with a post-workout breakdown. He's saying 30-minute incline walk. Okay. 5 incline. 2.5 speed, squat was 250, 3.5, shoulder press was 145, 3.5, and deadlift was... Dude, Corey, I'm not going to lie, you could do all those things? Did you squat, you can squat 250 pounds, dude? Holy shit! I mean, to me, that's a lot. To me, 250 pound squat is a lot. Like, I'm not much of a heavy weights guy. I wouldn't say I've got noodly arms per se, but I'm not very good at weightlifting. So, but I will say, post workout breakdown if you, I'll tell you what, because I don't do those kind of workouts. I don't do a lot of heavy lifting workouts. The most heavy lifting workout I do is push-ups. I try to do at least 10 to 20 push-ups a day, and then I do like 30 crunches, and then that's my workout for the day. So I'm kind of lazy. I'm not going to lie. I still walk. I walk a lot, so I walk at least typically 30 minutes to an hour a day. And the reason I walk 30 minutes to an hour a day is so that way I can keep my physical fitness up. I can keep my brain working. But yeah, I would say after you're done with all that, man, because so you did a 30-minute incline walk. I would say finish off your workout drinking water, but also walking while drinking water. That it's not medical advice or anything. I don't even know if that's a good idea. So scratch that. That's what I would do. I'm not saying you should do that, by the way. But I'm saying after you're done doing all the heavy lifting and stuff, all the heavy workouts, it might be a good idea to just take a 30-minute walk to finish it off, so that way your body can still keep moving, but you don't feel so stressed out. Because when you're doing heavy lifting, man, I think you're creating a lot of cortisol in the body. So a 30-minute walk, I think, will kind of relax you a little bit. When you're finished, in fact, if anything, I would probably, and this is my opinion, and by the way, I just want to let everybody know, I don't know how right I am on this. I might be very, very wrong. I want everybody to be very aware of this. I may be so wrong, and this is what I think I would do, because I don't do a lot of heavy lifting. But in my mind, if I were to do what Corey's doing, I would actually probably I personally would do the heavy lifting first and then do a 30-minute to 1 hour walk. That's me personally, because a 30-minute to an hour walk allows you to really relax the body. Walking is actually very relaxing to the body. If you run after doing a very intense workout, that's actually kind of stressful to the body. If you're doing stressful workouts, when I say stressful, because it is stressful to the body to do heavy lifting, heavy squats, that sort of. I'm not very good at squats. So I think that, here's the thing, running is good, but I think that if you're going to do very intense workouts, I think you need to finish those workouts. This is my opinion, by the way. I would say consult a medical physician, consult an actual coach on this. Actually, I'll tell you what, Corey, because you said you're going to SWAC at the moment. I think you said you're going to SWAC, if I remember correctly. I think I would talk to one of the coaches there. Like, I would actually, if you see one of the coaches, like, try to pull him to the side and be like, hey, I got a quick question. After doing an intense workout, should I finish the intense workout with just a 30-minute to an hour walk? I think that would be a really good question. I'm curious to see how he would answer it, because he may agree with me, he may not agree with me. But I feel like one of the physical, for example, like the basketball coach, the softball, football. Actually, they don't have a football team at SWAC. One of the baseball coaches, even, I would talk to some of the guys that do a lot of the physical stuff. Some of those coaches, some of those teachers, and I would ask them, like, hey, should I finish off my workout with a 30-minute to an hour walk? Because that's kind of what I do after I'm done playing basketball. Because that's what I do. Because here's the thing. I guess you could say I do intense. Like, when I play basketball, I play even by myself. I run around like a madman. I'm dribbling. I'm doing all sorts of moves. I'm really experimenting with my moves. And I'm playing basketball the hardest I can. And once I'm done playing basketball, I take at least a bare minimum 20 to 30-minute walk, even an hour-long walk. I don't do anything crazy. I don't try to run unless somebody's chasing me, obviously. But after I'm done playing very intense basketball, because your body's producing a lot of cortisol, your heart rate's up, and if you want to relax yourself, it's kind of cool to go really intense and then slow down. Walking allows the body to slow down. It allows you to be like, and also you feel a lot better because you're walking. You're feeling like, okay, I'm feeling loose, So And Corey, I want to apologize because I know I'm over-explaining this. This is just the way that I do it. That's just the way I do it. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not an expert. I want to let everybody know I'm not an expert on this. All I know is I've read some articles. I've read quite a few articles on these theories, and that's why I say walking after an intense workout, I think, is the best thing to do. Whether it's playing basketball at your hardest, running around like a crazy madman playing basketball, whether it's doing squats, whether it's doing weightlifting, because weightlifting isn't intense because you're like, you're just pushing everything you got. And and then afterwards doing because walking is a very relaxing task. I love walking. Like, if anything, I'm obsessed with walking, and it's at least a good obsession to have, Hey, get it, Corey. You the man, Corey. Get it, brother. Hey, dude, that was a hell of a question, man. That was a hell of a question. Fucking love that question. Hey, give a shout out to Corey, everybody. That was a hell of a question, man. All right, let's keep watching.
Researchers call it cognitive offloading. They develop this pattern of generating first and thinking later, or really generating first and not thinking at all. In this case,
got it. So what the kids are doing is they're just simply accepting the answer that is thrown at them. That's wild. Give me a few seconds, you guys. I'm going to put another gift goal. How do you guys spell skibbity toilet? How do you guys spell skibbity? Skibbity toilet. Skibbity toilet. I'll spell it however the hell I think it's spelled. I will sing skibbity toilet song. Since we're talking about brain rot, I'll sing the skibbity toilet song if I get 50 gifts. How does that sound? You guys ready? Skibbity!
Scary part is these studies are showing cognitive decline in adults, people with fully developed brains. If AI is doing this to adults, then what is it?
Oh, dude, if AI is killing the brains of adults, it's probably wrecking the minds of children. And by the way, I don't think people should be using chat. I only, at maximum throughout the day, I only use ChatGPT probably about 30 minutes a day total. That's about the extent of it, man. I don't use ChatGPT any longer than 30 minutes a day, and I keep it to that. I personally think there is no real reason to use ChatGPT for more than 30 minutes a day. I mean, sometimes I'll use it for more than... I'll use it for about an hour sometimes if I'm really trying to work with the AI on how to market better. Because there are subjects where I'm proud to admit that I have glaring, glaring knowledge gaps, and they're very glaring. And I'm proud to admit that. Like, I'm not proud to have knowledge gaps per se. I'm proud to admit that I have the ability to admit that I've got knowledge gaps. Also, make sure you guys tap the subscribe button. We're almost to 7,000
doing to
subs.
a brain that's still forming. Teachers are responding to the overuse of AI by removing Chromebooks and iPads from the classroom. They're going back to pencil and paper, the method that we've used for hundreds of years because it actually works. But I want to discuss who's actually...
Oh, by the way, yes, she's correct. Pencil and paper, taking notes with physical pencil and paper is way more effective than taking notes by typing them in on an iPad or typing them in on a keyboard. Honestly, if I were to rank the best note-taking methods, it would be pencil and paper for number one. Number 2 would be keyboard on a computer, an actual physical keyboard. And then third would be typing out on an iPad. I don't even like the idea of note-taking on an iPad because I think a lack of tactile interface, of actual key pressing, actually is not good. You're not going to remember anything that you type out on an iPad. You're just not. And that's the truth. You're just not going to remember. So physical handwriting does matter, and I don't think handwriting's ever going to go away. I think physical note-taking is so important. Like, I can't even begin to describe how important physical note-taking is. It's probably one of the most important things you could do in my mind.
Incentivized to have AI in the classrooms. We already know what social media was designed to do, and we know the future design because Mark Zuckerberg has been quite open about that. He thinks AI can fill the gaps in your friendships. He's exploiting the...
Oh, shit. Thank you, little Gordy, dude, is helping me get to my Oh, no, I'm going to have to... I just realized I got to sing Skibbity Toilet. I just screwed myself, dude, because if you guys give me a certain amount of gifts, I got to sing Skibbity Toilet. So I'm kind of hoping Skibbity Toilet lyrics. I'm going to pray to the Skibbity Toilet gods. Everybody's going cray-cray in the chat, dude. All right, we got 70 out of 50 gifts. I'll take that. Dang it, I'm going to have to sing Skibbity Toilet, unfortunately. Oh, Bitcoin is compromised and centralized. Now we're shorting. Dude, I've been telling all you guys to short Bitcoin for a long time, but nobody listened to me. Dude, when Bitcoin goes up on a bull run, I short the fuck out of it, dude. I hate Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is the stupidest thing in the world. It's dumb. Like, Bitcoin is Clickcoin. Bitcoin is garbage. And I'm proud to say that, man. I'm proud to say that Bitcoin's trash. And Bitcoin's crashing again, dude. Just like I told you guys it would. Nobody listens to me. I always say that, hey, Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme, so whenever it goes up on a bull run, I'm gonna trickle buy into the S-bit because Bitcoin is garbage. It's trash. It's absolute trash. Bitcoin is outdated slop. Bitcoin is no longer relevant in the age of quantum computers. All right? Oh, dude, Vanguard Total World Index is crashing. It's down to 142.70. Wow, dude. That's a good crash. I'm going to buy. So whenever Vanguard Total World Index crashes, I end up I buy it on the dip. And gold is going up in price though. So gold is going up and silver is going up. Damn, dude. Look at those pants. Damn. It don't make sense. Damn. I was thinking about swing trading silver, but I'm not going to lie, dude. Like, if silver crashes, obviously, I'm going to start racking up on silver ETFs. But it looks like iShares Gold Trust is... I would say iShares Gold Trust seems like a pretty good one to swing trade because it the price of gold does tend to fluctuate. Not as rapidly as silver, but yeah, swing trading gold is fabulous, dude. And here's the thing. The dollar is decaying at a rapid pace. So in a lot of ways, you're kind of protecting yourself from the downfall of the dollar by getting some exposure to gold, even if it's through a gold ETF. I think that's fabulous. But so yeah, swing trading gold ETFs is great. I've been able to make good amounts of money just by swing trading this shit. $89.57. Damn. But yeah, no, I'm just kind of buying the Vanguard Total World Index on the dip, just because I think it's a good dip buy. Let's see. I'm debating if I want to buy more shares. I bought one share just now. Ooh. I just enjoy watching Bitcoin crash and burn, I think, at the end of the day. I think that's what I enjoy the most. But let's see. Let's keep watching this.
Loneliness caused by...
Dude, my boy Mark Zuckerberg. Look at that fucking chain, dude. My man's like, hey, guess what? I'm wrecking your children's brains, boys. Mark Zuckerberg's like, yo, I'm wrecking your children's brains with my Instagrams and my Facebooks, and you guys are bad parents by letting your kids use my social media platforms. And also, you guys are skibbity toilet, letting your kids get their brains wrecked by going on the TikToks. I'm starting to sound like that Zombies Are Hungry guy, though.
By his own apps. Then there's Noam Shazir. He's the founder of Character AI. In an interview, Shazir said,
that guy already looks sketchy.
I joke that we're not going to replace Google. We're going to replace your mom. He wants...
It's kind of true. They're trying to replace human beings in general. And look, at this point, it sucks. Like, I never thought that I would be ahead of the curve in life. You know what I mean? I always thought that I was going to fall behind society, and it turns out that society has fallen well below me. And it sucks. I don't like seeing society decay like this. It's actually kind of sad. But we'll see.
It's his AI chatbot to replace mothers, the person who's supposed to guide you, help you make decisions, and provide you with life advice. He would rather his chatbot do that. And then there's Sam Altman. There's always a Sam Altman quote because the man has never received a podcast invitation that he could turn down.
People talk about the most personal shit in there.
Yeah, Sam Altman's on like every podcast. Do you guys think we can get Sam Altman on the Michael Garza show, though? Do you guys think that we can get this man, Sam Altman, on the Michael Garza show? I think we can. Hey, guys, we're almost to 7,000 subscribers. If you guys can, tap the subscribe button. Please subscribe to the channel. We really need more subscribers. So I want to see if we can reach 7,000 subs. Can we do it? That is the question.
Their lives to ChatGPT. Young people especially use it as a therapist, a life coach, having these relationship problems. What should I do?
They don't really make life decisions without asking ChatGPT what they should do. And it has the full context on every person in their life and what they've talked about. And
there's young people who just say I can't make any decision in my life without telling ChatGPT everything that's going on. It knows me, it knows my friends. I'm gonna do whatever it says.
That's crazy.
These CEOs know exactly what they're doing. They're not accidentally replacing critical thinking. They're designing for it. They want users dependent on the chatbot for advice, for decision making, for thinking itself. Because dependency is a business model. In fact, it translates to $20 a month for ChatGPT. But all of this has a societal cost, and we are paying for it.
I don't get to teach. I spend my day managing behaviors and teaching students how to regulate their emotions. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a behavior specialist. I'm a teacher, and most of my job...
Well, and like I said, the problem is the parents are not acknowledging that they're the problem by giving these kids devices and letting them go on TikTok. I really do believe it's a problem. And as far as AI is concerned, I will admit, I'm on a catch-22 on this one because I do think AI is inevitable. It's not going away. Oh, Feline Gaming, what are you saying? So Feline Gaming is saying Walls got indicted? Really? No way. We'll look that up here in just a sec. Actually, let me just look it up in this browser real quick. I'm going to look up the news real quick. Walls indicted. Okay, so it's saying Tim Walz has not been indicted. However, he is under active investigation in by the U.S. Department of Justice. Let's see, DOJ investigation. The DOJ has opened a criminal investigation into Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, blah, 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 and Jacob Fry over allegations they conspired to impede federal law enforcement, particularly immigration. Yeah, dude, honestly, these guys have... Dude, Tim Walz is such a chud. I can't stand Tim Walz, dude. That guy might be one of the worst governors I've ever seen. Like, he is a shit governor. And to anybody who doesn't think that Tim Walz sucks, you know, good for you, I guess. It's crazy, though. And I don't know how people can actually think that Tim Walz is competent. But if you guys can, please subscribe to the channel. We're currently sitting pretty at 6,950 subscribers. Once again, we're at 6,950. We're trying to get to 7,000 subscribers as quickly as possible. So, you know, help us out if you can. Please tap the subscribe button. It means the world to me. It really does. And we can't do this without you guys. So let's keep watching.
Is managing behaviors. I just watched a video of a teacher getting pepper sprayed by their student in the school because they took their phone because it was being used to cheat on a test.
She didn't sign up for this. None.
And that's the thing. The problem is public school teachers are quitting in droves because, well, it's impossible to teach the kids. Because how can you teach kids to think at all or to learn if they're too busy watching Skibbity Toilet? Okay, so it's a subpoena. Okay. It's a forced motion. It's a forward motion, yep. So yeah, no, Tim Walz was... there's a subpoena, it looks like. Okay. Yeah, it's saying that Tim Walz wasn't indicted. No. Subpoena, yes. But yeah, still, things are not looking good for Tim Walz. Things are not looking good for Governor Jacob Fry either. It's looking pretty bad.
None of them did. Teachers go into the profession with the expectation that they will teach, similar to how their teachers taught them. They didn't realize that they would be managing behaviors because they're not behavioral therapists. But today, that's what the job entails. Severe breakouts, tremors, daily anxiety attacks, crying before work, crying after work, dreading the drive in, bringing work home because there's not enough time to do your job at your job. The data shows teacher shortages were being reported on back in 1998, but back then it was fewer than 30% of states. Fast forward to today, and it's 86% of school districts that can't fill their positions.
Wow. 86%? Really? That is, honestly, that is insane. That really is insane to me because it's like, whew, that's wild. Hold on. Got a beef stick.
%86 is a collapse, not a shortage. 411,000 teaching positions are either empty or filled by someone who isn't fully qualified. As a result of having less staff and more students with behavioral issues, teachers are burning out. In fact, teachers have the highest burnout rates of all industries, with 44% reporting always or very often.
Damn, dude. Let's see. K-12 education, college or university. Wow. Retail was kind of interesting. Technology. Utilities. That's crazy, man.
Often feeling burned out. This clip says how it feels going to sleep tonight knowing that I don't have to wake up tomorrow and teach children because I quit my teaching job in the middle of the year. We can go to the
Yep. I would not want to be a teacher. Straight up. In today's era, because parents are just terrible at parenting, I would not want to be a teacher in today's era. Parents are just bad at parenting their kids, and it sucks.
comments. What are you doing instead? Asking for me. Currently in class and just letting them talk over me because I'm tired of it already. What do you do now? I went out of education. Quitting teaching was the best decision of my life. You won't regret it.
Yep. Because why do I want to teach these brain dead kids? You know, they're not going to listen to me. Their parents are not going to listen to the other teachers either, because the parents are just as brain dead because they're probably also on TikTok along with their kids. And so if these brain dead parents who are doom scrolling TikTok all the time as a form of relaxation, I mean, we're living in brain rot times. And look, you could either choose to participate or not participate. I choose not to participate. I don't have TikTok on my phone. And yeah, do I contribute to the problem by creating short form content? Sure, absolutely. If that's where the eyeballs are at, I'm going to make content for it. That's my motto. I go where the eyeballs are at. Where are the eyeballs? If the eyeballs are on short form content, I'm going straight for short form.
This is honestly terrifying, seeing how many teachers wanting to quit. Teachers deserve better than this. The comments are filled with teachers who want out or teachers who have already left, and it's the best decision they made. By the way, this video was...
I will say, though, it is possible that a lot of these teachers are just really incompetent and like to complain a lot. So there's that factor, too. I think it just depends.
Was posted 1 week ago. It has over 2 million views and over 292,000 likes. The algorithm found every burnt out teacher and
I love how all these burnt out teachers are posting to TikTok, but they don't realize that posting to TikTok, you're posting to the platform that made your kids have... By the way, the one platform that you're posting to, TikTok, is responsible for probably most of the brain rot that these kids are facing. So you posting on TikTok is like, it's actually kind of an ironic, it's ironic because you're posting this on a platform that is primarily responsible for the kids that you were teaching being mentally handicapped, essentially.
in America.
I live like this. So that my students can live like this.
What? Why are you buying these kids gifts? Are you serious? I would not buy any of these snot-nosed punks a single fucking gift. So by the way, this teacher is clearly a moron because she's buying. If I'm reading this, if I'm watching this correctly, educators are educating poorly. By the way, because they don't have critical think. I think most public school teachers don't have critical thinking skills either. The irony is they teach critical thinking, but I don't think they critically think. First off, by the way, I hate it when teachers play victim. If the school, by the way, if the school is not supplying the necessary supplies that you need to teach your kids, you need to demand the supplies from the school. I hate it when, and this is what pisses me off, when teachers play the victim and say, well, the school doesn't provide us with enough school supplies, so I got to pay out of pocket out of my own money to get these kids the supplies they need. How about this? How about teach these kids that? How about this? How instead of enabling the school to not give you anything, make the children resent the public school system. Make these kids resent the public school system. Once again, I'm going to tell you this: make the children themselves resent the overall public school system for being incompetent and terrible. All right? So teachers, here's what I ask you to do. Stop paying out of pocket for school supplies if your fucking school isn't providing the supplies they need to provide you. Talk to the powers that be, and if they don't help you, here's what you do. Be like, hey kids, guess what? We're going to do an assignment. We're not going to really write anything down because we don't have any pencils, but here's what I'm going to teach you guys. I'm going to teach you guys how to resent the system. And we're going to teach you guys resentment of the system, right? We're going to teach you how to resent government and that public schools are incompetent as shit. We're going to teach you how to resent the public school system. Really, I think it's a good thing. I hate it when teachers pay out of pocket for supplies, because not only are you allowing the school system to take advantage of the teacher further, seriously, teachers need to stop being agreeable. And there's another thing. A lot of public school teachers don't have the backbone to stand up to the school or the students. They're just enablers. And parents are enablers too. Absolutely. But here's what they need to do. These teachers, they don't need to buy supplies. If the school is not giving you the supplies that you need to be a functional teacher, tell the kids, hey, look, the school is not funding, the school's not giving you anything. And I'm not paying out of pocket so you guys can say skibbity toilet all day. All right? If I hear one of you say skibbity toilet, I'm going to crash out. No, just kidding.
Let's go, boys. One thing I've noticed about football fans is they all talk.
Please make sure that you guys, by the way, please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. It really does help the channel grow. And maybe one day, I'll choose to buy a YouTube Premium. I will say this. If my YouTube channel gets to 100,000 subscribers, if I get to 100,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel, you know what I'm going to do? I will buy YouTube Premium. You heard it right. I'm going to make this promise to you guys. If this channel, and I want you guys to hold my feet to the fire, okay? If this channel ever gets to 100,000 subscribers, which I believe it will, by the way. If we ever get to 100,000 subscribers, I will buy a YouTube Premium subscription. Right? I'm serious. Because obviously, if I'm at 100,000 subscribers, I'll be able to easily, constantly get YouTube money, right? Also, please subscribe to the channel. We're almost to 7,000 subscribers. Look at this. We're currently sitting pretty at 6,951 subscribers. I repeat, 6,951 subs. So, what that means is, if you tap the subscribe button, it helps the channel grow. It helps my dong grow. Well, there ain't no making my dong any bigger. It's kind of small, but whatever. Let's keep watching.
I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I am beyond broke.
The reason you're broke is because you're buying shit for your students. Stop buying stuff for your students, you dum-dum. I'm actually not mad at the school system. I'm mad at the teachers who buy school supplies because the school can't provide school supplies for the kids. I'm mad at the teachers for spending money out of their pocket and enabling the school district to take advantage of not funding properly. If you want to send a real message to the school district, don't buy supplies out of pocket for the kids. Don't do it. Just don't do it. It's not your responsibility to buy school supplies for these freaking kids. It's not your responsibility to get them all gifts. It's not your responsibility to constantly buy candy and shit. If you're already living paycheck to paycheck as a teacher, you need to stand your fucking ground and not pay out of pocket for anything. I'm tired of hearing teachers acting like the victims and I'm broke, I'm on a teacher salary. The reason you're broke is because you keep buying fucking school supplies when you should be demanding that your school district supply you guys with the necessary things you need. You're by being too agreeable, by avoiding conflict, these teachers are just making themselves broke and miserable. No, it does. By the way, Jank Langston saying that hurts the kids. Seriously, stick it to the school system. And you know what the teachers need to do when the school doesn't supply what they need to supply? Be like, hey, look, government is inefficient. Public schools are inefficient. Let the kids know that you can't rely on public school for your education. You just got to let the kids know very early on that they need to have contempt for public education. It's funny. The teachers, obviously, every teacher that I ever went through loves public school. They think public education's so great. Obviously, I had a resentment for the public school system at a very early age. I knew it was bullshit because at an early age, I was just good at figuring out what was good and what wasn't, So I could tell what was golden and what was a turd at a very young age. And I realized that even this... And my parents thought I was crazy for noticing these patterns, and I probably am. But I was like, you do realize that the public school system is ridiculous, right? You realize that it doesn't do any good for anybody. And that it's underfunded, and the teachers don't even really want to be there. The teachers want to be there just even more or less than the students, usually, 9 times out of 10. I'm not even really blaming the teachers at this point. I'm blaming the shitty parents. I'm sick of these parents blaming the teachers when in all reality, you guys are just really bad parents. And I want you guys to admit that. Just admit you're bad parents and let's move along. All right, let's move along. Just admit you're damn terrible parents, bro.
These are the people that we're losing. Teachers who are willing to live paycheck to paycheck to nurture the next generation.
Well, that needs to stop. That needs to stop. And this lady, I feel like she's also enabling it too. It's not honorable to dip into your own pocket and provide all the supplies to the kids. You need to pull up your fucking britches, head up to the principal's office and be like, look, you got to be like a Karen basically and be like, I want to speak to your manager. By the way, these teachers need to refuse to pay out of pocket for anything. I'm going to tell you what I would do if I was a teacher. If these kids didn't have the school supplies in the classroom that were necessary to make things happen, you know what I would do? I would call the principal and be like, look, I don't have the school supplies. And if the school principal told me that I needed to pay out of pocket, I would tell him, yeah, I'll pay out of pocket. I'm going to buy a 10-inch you-know-what, and I'm going to shove it up your you-know-what. That's what I would tell the principal. If the school district principal or whatever told me that as a teacher that I needed to pay out of pocket for school supplies because the school can't afford it for whatever reason or can't fund it, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be like, yeah, I'll pay out of pocket. I would go on Amazon or whatever website sells 12-inch you-know-whats. I would buy it on Amazon. I would go to the principal's desk once I get the package. I would open it up. I would go to the principal's desk, and I would put it on his desk, and I would tell him to shove it up his you-know-what. That's what I would do. You want to stick it to the man? Public school system sucks. I hate the fact that the public school system is federally funded. I really do. And I think that the curriculum and everything, there's just no incentive. Public school teachers know they can't get fired, which is kind of one of the reasons why I kind of want to be a public school teacher. Do you guys think that Michael Garza should be a public school teacher? What do you guys think? What do you think? Do you guys think that Michael Garza should be a public school teacher? I think I should. Because I wouldn't put up with garbage. I'd be a badass teacher, actually. That's the irony is I'd actually probably be a good teacher. That's the sad irony about all this. I actually would probably be an okay teacher. I'm not saying I'd be great. But it would be kind of fun to be a substitute teacher, though. I think it'd be great to be a substitute teacher, man. But yeah, no, I would go to the principal and I would buy a 12-inch you-know-what off Amazon. And I would set that 12-inch you-know-what on the principal's desk and be like, hey, you could take this and you could just shove it up your... And it's up to him, it's up to the principal to do whatever he wants with that 12-incher on his desk. Yeah, I just wouldn't want to even... I would not want to teach kids. Period. End of story. I understand why public school teachers are quitting in droves. It makes perfect sense to me. It makes absolute sense to me why public school teachers are quitting at a rapid rate. Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me, man. Well, and the problem is, here's the problem.
A survey found
there's no incentive to be a good teacher. You're not going to get a pay raise for being a good teacher, right? So one of the reasons why a lot of public school teachers suck is because there's a lack of incentive to do any more than the bare minimum. That's why you had so many shitty public school teachers, is because they're never really incentivized to do more than the bare minimum. And can you blame them? If Joe Schmo, like, let's say I'm an excellent teacher, right? And then incompetent Joe Schmo over there is teaching another class, but he's just really incompetent. He's just a shitty teacher, right? He does the bare minimum whereas I'm not doing the bare minimum, right? What incentive is there for me to want to do better than Joe Schmo? In fact, if anything, I'm kind of idolizing Joe Schmo over here for doing the bare minimum. I might even emulate what Joe Schmo over here is doing and do the bare minimum. I may consider that. Because Joe Schmo may be ahead of the curve, is what I'm trying to get at. Joe Schmo may be ahead of the curve.
nearly 97% of teachers use their own money to buy classroom supplies.
Nearly 97% of survey respondents are purchasing classroom supplies out of pocket? I got to read this. Hold on. With the average amount spent at $673 per year, more than double the $300 educator expense deduction. Classroom teachers earning between $35,000 and $50,000. Wait, they're earning $35,000 to $50,000 a year? Are you kidding me? So wait a minute. You get to work 9 months out of the year, and you get this amount of money? Dude, sign me up to be a teacher. I don't care anymore. Are spending $715 on average, and classroom teachers working in school districts with 75% or more students eligible for free or reduced price lunch spending. Nearly 4 in 10 teachers report the amount spent increases each year. Inflation and other factors are driving up the cost of school supplies. 25% higher. Okay, whatever. I don't know. Either way, I'm really depressed that these teachers don't have the backbone to just tell the school to go F themselves. If I can't believe this, like teachers clearly don't have backbone, because you know what I would do? I'd be like, if we don't have the supplies, I'm not paying out of pocket. I would tell the principal, look, and I would actually, you know what? I wouldn't even tell the principal, because the principal would just fire me. So I would go to all the different teachers in secret, in private. I would talk to each teacher one-on-one, and I would be like, look, we need to stop paying out of pocket because the school system is too cheap to give us the money that we need to fund these kids, to fund this educational thing, right? Whatever the fuck we're teaching. And that's what it takes. If that's what it takes, you got to ruffle feathers, dude. You got to offend people. Sometimes you got to make people a little uncomfortable, right? You got to set a little bit. You got to go up, and you got to ruffle some feathers. You can't just you just can't be stepped on all the time. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. You can't be stepped on all the freaking time. That's just not the way the world should work, is what I'm trying to get at.
Teachers earning between $35,000 to $50,000 are spending $700 out of pocket each school year for kids to have pencils. Critical thinking is becoming a class marker who can actually question things. But this is to be expected. For years, education has been systematically devalued, defunded, and deprioritized.
And yes, this does not help, by the way. The fact that education, by the way, I'm not saying the Department of Education, look at this, change in education spending 2009 to 2019. Just to let you know, you guys can blame Trump on this one if you really want to, but that's actually not right. Because you can't. This is from 2009 to 2019. Look at this. A reduction in spending in education, right? Where is all that money going? Why are we not funding the schools? And by the way, this is why I've been so against the Department of Education to begin with. Here's what I think. I think that every single state needs to create their own, they need to fund their schools. It's not up to the federal government to fund your schools. As a state, if you guys want to make it to where you can fund the schools, raise your taxes. Raise your sales taxes. I don't know. Do something. If you guys want to solve the problem of underfunded schools, and this is why I'm glad we got rid of the Department of Education, because clearly the Department of Education doesn't know and doesn't care about any of the freaking schools that are in other states. Does that make sense? What I'm saying makes sense. I'd like to believe it does. Hey, bro. Just saying, bro, I'm an idiot. Why am I an idiot? I'm making some damn good points. No, it shouldn't be federal. The federal government should not be paying the schools. It should be up to the states to pay for public schools. If public schools need to exist, then it's up to the state to fund the public schools. That's my opinion. I'm not saying that's how it really works, unfortunately. If it worked the way that I'm proposing, things would be a whole hell of a lot better. I'm just going to tell you that right freaking now. And I think you guys know that. I think that you guys know what I'm saying is true.
But who truly benefits from a population that can't read, can't write, can't think critically, and ask questions? These same tech companies creating these problems are selling the solution. The same government that claims prosperity is defunding schools, while at the same time using our tax dollars to build.
Okay, so John Mellencamp went on.
Do you want free internet? Forever?
I accidentally clicked on another clip. Hold on, where were we at? We're pretty much at the end of this video almost, but we're at the part where, let's see, okay.
Can't think critically and ask questions. These same tech companies creating these problems are selling the solution. The same government that claims prosperity is defunding schools, while at the same time using our tax dollars to build yet another AI data center.
What every educator on this app is talking about, and what every educator in the field is noticing, is a dramatic decline in basic critical reasoning skills and basic literacy skills among students. This is particularly pronounced among high school age students, where they're engaging with more complex material and can't grasp basic concepts or manage basic memory about those concepts. And what this is creating is a generation entering the workforce without basic comprehension skills that is going to make it very hard for them to keep and maintain any form of employment. On the inverse of this, we're seeing kids in more affluent families being not only pulled out of the public school system and sent to things like...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And the thing is, it's funny that the irony is this. The families that are poor are the ones that are on TikTok. I honestly believe there's a direct correlation between income and social media. So if you use things like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, YouTube itself is fine. Long form content is good. Short form content kills your attention span and makes you honestly dumber. So TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reel Shorts, whatever you guys call that shit. I don't really participate. It's killing attention spans at a rapid freaking rate. I don't participate in TikTok. I don't. I refuse to download the app. I use TikTok on occasion just to upload videos, but that's it. I don't respond to comments on there or anything. And yeah, I'm being a bit of a hypocrite because I'm honestly streaming to the vertical content. It's because that's where the eyeballs are at. Why would I stream where the eyeballs are not at? Tell me that. Vertical streaming is where the eyeballs are at, so why would I stream anywhere else? You tell me that.
Like Montessori schools, but being pulled away from technology, not given access to anything more than, say, a TV or a video game station until they're a teenager. No tablets, no phones, things like that. And what they're doing to fill their time instead is the normal childhood stuff of playing outside, reading a book, coloring sheets, all of these things that seem like play but are actually building soft skills that make someone much better.
Dude, I'm not going to admit that I'm perfect. I'm going to admit that I am, in a weird way, I'm kind of an enabler myself. I'm an enabler because I make this sort of content. But sadly, this is where the eyeballs are at. And I'm just going to have to be an enabler, unfortunately. That's the way it is, man. And that's the way it is. That's the way it is.
Are able to navigate the world around them as they get older. The gap is not going to be who can use AI and who cannot. The gap is not going to be who is an all-star on the ACT with a full ride and who is not. The gap is going to be who can reason in a basic way and who cannot. And those that cannot will probably...
And that's why logical reasoning needs to be taught. I will say one thing that really helped me out in my life was learning software, learning programming languages really helped me really finalize my education in logic, logical reasoning, because you're working with a lot of logical in software programming, whether it's C++, whether it's Java, whether it's Python. You have to use reasoning skills when you're developing programs. Obviously, you have to come up with an idea. Anytime you're programming, you come up with you think about what the end product is going to be. And then you start constructing the end. And then you start constructing the product from the bottom to the top. And a lot of the time, I just reverse engineer my goals. So if I have a goal, if I have a project I want to complete in Python, I come up with the end result in my mind, and then I reverse engineer the end result in my mind. So that way I know the beginning, the third step, the second step, and then I know what the first step is. So if you want to know the truth to success, it's focus and reverse engineering. That's all life. If you want to be really successful, reverse engineer. Simple as that, man. It's simple as that.
Hopefully be left behind.
That's crazy. That's so crazy, man. I mean, this really is wild, man. Now, I know I'm getting a lot of hate in the comments section. I get it. I know you guys are hating on me. And keep on hating, man. Keep on hating. I love reacting to these types of videos, though. They're really fun. I do one channel I enjoy reacting to, though, is the How Money Works channel. That one's kind of fun. I'll admit it. The How Money Works channel is a great one. What are your guys' favorite channels? Actually, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'm gonna ask you guys a couple questions because I am very, very curious. I'm being sincere. What are your guys' favorite channels to watch? Can you? And I'm gonna actually take you guys very seriously. I have a notepad. I have a note card. All right. And I got my handy dandy pen. All right. What are your guys' favorite channels to react to? Because I'll react to, if it's a channel that I think I'll enjoy, I'll watch some of the content and I'll be more than happy to react to it. Channels to react to. And I'm actually going to write this down. So I'm being sincere, you guys. What channels should I react to? I'm being serious. What channels should I react to? Frank Tuffino? Okay. Now, we're going to end the stream here in a little bit. I'm probably going to end the stream in about, I don't know, just whenever. Let's see, Tuffino. Who is Frank Tuffino, Dr. T? Okay, well, I'll tell you this. I'll because you know me, I like to experiment with this channel. I'm not afraid to go on to channels that suck. And if it ends up being a shitty channel, then I'll just say it's a shitty channel. Okay, so we got Frank Tuffino. We got Tim Pool. I'm not a fan. I will admit I'm not a fan of Tim Pool, but I'll react to Tim Pool's stuff. I do think Tim Pool is kind of a moron, though. I'm not gonna lie. I think Tim Pool's a fucking moron. But I'll react. Oh, you know what? I need to do some more reaction videos to Strongman Personal Finance. Strongman Personal Finance. If you guys have never heard of Strongman, definitely look up Strongman Personal Finance. Personal Finance. Let's see. Who else? What are some other YouTube channels? What other YouTube channels should I react to, you guys? E.T. Oh, God. E.T. is saying zombies are hungry. I fucking hate that channel. Dude, zombies are hungry is definitely a form of peak brain rot. If we're going to be honest, the zombies are hungry guy, that guy is absolute trash. Absolute brain rot. Nikki is saying, oh, Vosh, ew. Dude, Vosh is an idiot, but it would be fun to react to that guy, react to his shit, because he is such a moron. Vosh, Vaush. Here we go. I should react to my own content. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. P.F. Jung. All right, I'll write that down. P.F. Jung, I think is how you say it. I wanted to say Jung, but I think it's Jung or something like that. So P.F. Jung. And I'm asking you guys sincerely, like, who on YouTube should I react to? And this is a sincere question. Like, and Vosh, by the way, is a total creep. Yeah, dude, Vosh is like one of the creepiest dudes, man. Yeah, I don't like that guy. Isn't he like kind of a leftist? Isn't he kind of like a crazy left-wing lunatic? Yeah, Vosh is like a crazy I'll react to left-wing lunatic, like Destiny, for example. That guy's an idiot. I react to his stuff, but he's a dumbass. He sucks. Hey, you guys, if you guys can, we're currently sitting pretty at 6,951 subscribers. We're hoping to get up to 7,000. We're only 49 subscribers away from hitting 7,000. So I will say this: please subscribe to the channel because it really pushes the channel out to the rest of the algorithm. And if you can, like the stream. Liking the stream goes a long ways because it allows us to. It also allows us to get pushed out on the algorithm as well. So simply taking the action of liking the stream and subscribing really pushes us out to more people. And if we're pushed out to more people, that's more people we can annoy, which is really fun. I enjoy ruffling feathers. I think it's fun. I think it's good. If you haven't made any enemies in this life, then, you're kind of living a wrong life. I think it's fun to make a little bit of enemies. Okay, hold on, you guys. I'm trying to keep up with you all. Andrew Tate. Daphne Reloaded. I don't know who Daphne Reloaded is, but I will I'll actually note her down. Daphne Reloaded, okay. The Dollar Vigilante. Okay, the Dollar. Because I think you guys probably consume more content than I do, legitimately. I'm not much of a content consumer, but I will consume content for the sake of entertainment. I love reacting to content with you guys in the chat. It's very entertaining. So we got Wayne. Okay, so you're saying Wayne Steiger. Okay. So we got Wayne Steiger. Do you know Haz Al-Din? I do not know, but I will. I've never heard of Haz Al-Din, but I will note. I'm, as you guys can tell, I'm making notes of all the guys that you're recommending, or guys and gals. Haz Al-Din. I really don't know who he is. I don't know. Actually, most of the people you guys have mentioned, for the most part, I have zero clue who these people are. I unfortunately know who Vosh is because I guess there was a bit of a scandal with him that he's actually he's a huge douchebag and a creep. Oh, Officer Tatum. I actually do like Officer Tatum. He's an interesting fella. Officer Tatum. Larkin Rose. Okay. So let's see. Larkin Rose. I hope you guys are not trolling me with some of these, but if you are, I forgive you. I do like a little bit of a good troll job. Let's see. Sam Onella. Okay. And thank you. By the way, I want to thank everybody in the chat for helping me out. Because like I said, I'm kind of like an unk with a lot of this. I don't really know who the big YouTubers are these days. Or at least I don't know. I even don't know who the up and coming ones are for the most part. President Sunday. How about mustard on your head? Oh, wait, that's been done. No, I do enjoy doing those mustard streams, though. I haven't done one in a long time, though. At least I need to get back in the swing of things, you guys. I've lost my mojo. I lost it all. Okay. Salmonella, Candace Owens. Candace Owens is she's a bit of a nutbag. She's too crazy for me. I will say this: Candace Owens is not that funny. She's not a very funny person. At least if she's gonna be crazy, can she be funny, please? Alex Jones is a great example of somebody who's crazy, but he's actually funny. And I really enjoy watching Alex Jones because he's actually a funny dude. Is he a crazy conspiracy theorist? Absolutely. But he is so much fun to watch that, like, you can't turn away when Alex Jones is in your face. So I'm a huge Alex Jones fan, without a doubt. I love him. Alex Jones. Now, I love Alex Jones, man. I think he's great. He's out of his mind. He's absolutely out of his mind, but he's fun to watch, man. I really do enjoy a good old Alex Jones production. Okay. So Nicole's Canada is recommending Logic. Okay. I'm gonna write that down. Logic. All right. I'm doing the best I can to write down all these. Let's see, Logic. Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to forget most of these people later. Black Earth Productions. All right. So we got Black Earth Productions. Uh-oh, Chris Guthrie. Oh, Chris Guthrie, you're going to make it to where I hit the goal. We got 40 seconds. Do I hit the goal? We got 39 seconds. Is Chris Guthrie... Oh, Chris Guthrie made it to where I hit the goal. Oh. All right, you guys. I gotta sing the Skibbity Toilet song. No. Okay. I gotta look it up real quick. How do I sing? You know what? I'm just gonna look up Skibbity Toilet. Skibbity Toilet original. I'm gonna take a piss though, real quick, before we look at Skibbity Toilet, and before we watch this brain rot. I'm really disturbed by this, and I'm really saddened. But we're going to rock out to Skibbity Toilet. Hold on. All right, you guys. I just want to say that I hate you all. I hate you all. Let's do this. Okay. So we're going to react to the brain rot that exists on the internet, sadly. I am so depressed that we have to watch this. Let's do it.
My style is ridiculous.
Skibbity num 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 what? I can't do this, dude. But we're gonna do this.
My style is ridiculous.
This sucks so much. Skibbity Toilet beginning. Oh no.
в туалете!
Oh, God. Skibbity dum 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 dum. Skibbity dum dum dum. All right, let's just.
You have a UTI.
Let's see if there's any closed captions here.
Going on,
Skibbity yum yum yums. Is he saying happy poop yum yums? I don't know.
What the heck is going on
Skibbity yum yum yum. Skibbity dum dum dum. Skibbity, I have lost my mind. Why am I reacting to brain rot all the time? Everybody can suck my dong. Everybody can suck on my juicy man thong. I have no idea what the lyrics are, but I'm really sad that I'm watching this, you guys. I told you guys, I unfortunately told you guys that I would sing the Skibbity Toilet song, and I'm sort of living up to the fulfillment. I'm living up to what I said I would do to some degree, but I'm really sad that I'm doing this, so.
Oh, help me, please, somebody.
I hate my life. I love my life, but right now, I'm just really sad. This is what the world's coming to. This is the fall. What we're watching right now is the absolute fall of society. This is the fall of society. We're watching the fall of society, everybody. We are so screwed. We are so fucked.
What the heck is going on
Oh my God. You know how they say one of the most famous sayings of all time is, "Don't hate the player, hate the game." I'm sure we've all heard that. Don't hate the player, hate the game. I hate both. I hate the platform and I hate the content creators. I can't, dude. This is just so bad. This is just so bad. I hate the platform. I hate TikTok, and I can't stand the content creators either. The content, dude, straight up the content creators, whoever created this Skibbity toilet thing, I just feel I can't do it. I can't do it anymore, man.
What the heck is going on
Please. Holy frickin' crap. I'm so done. I'm so done with the brain rot, you guys. Come on, man. Let's finish this. By the way, this is the longest minute and 6 seconds. Well, mainly because I'm pausing it. But if I was to watch this all the way through, it would legitimately be the longest minute and 6 seconds of my life. Why do people watch this? And I'm asking with absolute sincerity, why are people watching this? Why is there also another Skibbity toilet guy? Why am I asking why? There is no reasoning. There's no real reasoning behind any of this, except for somebody probably did a lot of drugs and had access to Blender, which is totally free, by the way, for people to access. They had access to Blender. They did a lot of drugs, and they decided to make Skibbity toilet. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I believe. Skibbity toilet is killing us all, dude. Skibbity toilet. Hey, if you guys can, make sure you guys like the stream and please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. So please tap the subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow in more ways than one. I'm losing my voice again. Hope I'm not getting sick. Please subscribe to the channel, and also please like the stream. Tapping the like button helps push us out to the algorithm to help annoy more people. So if you want to help the Michael Garza Show annoy more people, like the stream, so that way we can annoy. I can't even speak anymore, dude. Watching Skibbity Toilet, I think it actually just made my IQ drop by 50. It might have just ET says I might have to dude, we're almost done with Skibbity Toilet, dude. We're so close to being done with Skibbity Toilet, okay? We only got 16 seconds to deal with 17 more seconds. Now I understand why kids don't have the ability to critically think anymore. This makes perfect sense. Yeah, I hate TikTok. I hate TikTok. I hate the content creators on TikTok. I can't do it anymore, man. I can't do this shit anymore. You know what I think I need to do? I think I need to do an entire live stream where I just react to brain rot. I think that needs to be a live stream so I could kind of try to get to the bottom of understanding why people watch this brain rot shit. I'm still trying to understand. I don't get it. Call me the old man yelling at the wind. ET says, I think it started with YouTube poops. At least YouTube poops, I'm going to give them props, were kind of funny. Like, a lot of the YouTube poops actually sucked quite a bit, but the YouTube poops, like the Billy Mays ones, the Billy Mays YouTube poops were on another scale of amazing. Well, let's take a look here. I'm so depressed. Like, Skibbity Toilet might be the worst thing in the world. We're screwed, dude. We're so fucked. ET is saying, classics lol, the same way casinos do it. Yeah, every set. How do people watch that stuff, dude? I'm having trouble understanding the logic behind all this shit. Well, I think the worst part is there's just zero logic behind it at all. You can't make real sense of any of this. It's complete insanity. You know, I kind of just feel sad for this generation, man. I say, you know what? Here's the thing. If I watched Skibbity Toilet on TikTok, you know what I would have done? I would have uninstalled the app and I would have never looked back. Oh, no, there's no understanding. By the way, here's the thing about brain rot that people need to understand is that there's no real reason behind it. Except for people want to create sloppy bullshit content, either AI generated slop or other types of slop. They just want to create garbage content. And that's the truth. And hey, if people want to create garbage content, I'm not saying my content is any better, but I at least give a critical thought to what I'm looking at, right? And that's the thing for me. I'm giving critical thoughts to what I'm looking at. And I don't like what I see. The world, and here's the thing, when the world loses its mind, sometimes you have to somehow be the voice of reason, and I don't know how you can really be that in today's age. Critical thinking is so dead right now. Oh, critical thinking is so dead. It's beyond dead. And I'm not going to lie, I feel dumber watching Skibbity Toilet for 1 minute and 6 seconds. I feel like I lost my mind. I legitimately lost my mind, man. So Unsupervised 2 says we need to take the warning labels off things and let nature take its course. Yeah. I don't even know anymore, man. I don't. I'm not sure anymore. I don't even want to try to understand anymore. And I think the thing is, it's not that I don't want to understand, it's that I look at it and I suddenly understand that it's stupid. You know when you like look at something and you're just aware that it's dumb? It's kind of what it comes down to, man. You know, you take one look, like the brain rot that you see on TikTok. It's like you look at it and you're like, dude, this is stupid. Hold on. But yeah, the brain rot that you see on TikTok is just out of control. I don't get it. Like, I don't understand how people could really like seek out this content. Like, that's the one thing. To the people that seek out the content, man, I don't. I just don't understand. Well, look, I think kids are getting stupider. I really do. I think the more that kids stay on TikTok, I think even adults, whether you're a kid or an adult, I think if you spend too much time on TikTok, I really think it kills your attention span and it makes it very tough to focus. You know, people are often wondering why they can't focus. It's because you're spending too much time watching short form content when you just need to get off of that shit. It's really simple. But people are too hooked on the short form content because they're afraid they're going to miss out on something. You're not missing out on anything. You're going to get the chimpanzee banana and you're going to get the skibbity toilet memes. That's all you're really going to get at the end of the day on TikTok. TikTok is the definition of brain rot. And I'm going to trash on the short form videos on YouTube. YouTube Shorts is just as brain rotty. If anything, the short videos on YouTube Shorts are pretty stupid too. Focus absolutely does. Are you kidding me? The only way that you can learn and understand things is to have some semblance of focus, to be able to hold an idea in your head for some amount of time and be able to think about something critically. Focus, attention span matters. If your attention span is constantly fragmented, you're screwing yourself. Dude, you're absolutely screwing yourself, man. And it's sad that I think what's really sad is that nobody is calling out the platforms or the people using the platforms. I think if you're constantly on TikTok, I think you're really screwing yourself. I mean, unless you're creating look, if you're creating content for TikTok, okay, fine. But if you're consuming TikTok content, just expect to be poor the rest of your life. Because skibbity toilets are not going to make your life any better. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with uploading videos to TikTok, even though TikTok sucks. So Glenn Sharp is wondering, what are some alternatives? The alternative is stay away from vertical short form content. Even this show. I would probably recommend people stay away from this show too. But I think vertical short form content is bad. I mean, this is vertical long form content, so at least it's kind of a step above. So if you have the ability to have your attention span stick with it, then great. But the problem is, man, people are just doom scrolling. They're scrolling through their short feeds. They're scrolling through their live streams. You know, it's just crazy. And yeah, I can understand why people are disgusted. I'm pretty disgusted at what the world is becoming because everybody's attention span is screwed. and we're all kind of effing ourselves. By the way, does anybody have any more suggestions on other YouTube, any other YouTube channels that I should react to?
Laugh out loud.
Because I have been looking for a few more to react to. And thank you, GG Shook. Thank you for subscribing. I greatly appreciate it, my brony brother. Hell yeah. Thanks. By the way, I want to give a shout out to everybody who subscribed. I love it. Yeah, and here's the thing, man. Attention spans are going to be killed if they. I even stopped going on YouTube to watch videos because I feel like even that might be killing my attention span a little bit. And Mark Passio. Okay, we'll look up Mark Passio. I will say this though. I prefer to watch YouTube on my desktop, on my laptop computer, than my smartphone. And I'll tell you some of the advantages I believe there are. If you're going to consume any video content, I think it's better to consume video content on a larger screen that is more landscaped, right? So whenever you're viewing content on this device, right here, you're viewing it in a portrait mode, in a portrait scape, right? In a portrait frame, I guess you could say. And when you're looking at it, you're actually killing your visual acuity a little bit. So one of the things to enhance your visual acuity is, one, if you're going to watch any videos at all, watch it on a larger screen. One of the reasons I like to watch videos on my desktop computer and on my laptop is because they have larger screens and they're in the landscape. I'm losing my train of thought now. I think Skibbity Toilet killed me. They're in the landscape format, and it's easier to look at. I can keep my visual acuity high, and I feel like I can keep my attention span, because the only time I go on YouTube these days is to look up long form content, maybe like an interview or an audiobook or maybe even a movie. Sometimes you can watch movies for free on YouTube, and the only thing you have to deal with are the advertisements, which is a small price to pay in my book. And yeah, I watch movies and stuff on my I'll watch documentaries from time to time, and I typically tend to just stick to my laptop instead of watching things on my smartphone, because one, the screen is a lot smaller, so you're kind of already screwing your visual the visual range that you have a little bit on a smaller screen. You actually, it's preferable to view content, in my opinion, on a much larger screen. That's my opinion, though, and I'm sticking to it. So Unsupervised 2 says the doom scrollers like myself are scrolling vertical shorts. Oh, that sounds good. You gotta do what you gotta do, man. Tristan Allen says vertical most definitely where it's at. Yes, exactly, because straight up everybody is scrolling through vertical content on their phones, and I call them the Gooner Brony brothers, because they're on this phone. Right, and I mock, and look, I love smartphones. I'm going to tell you this. I love my smartphone because I get to use it to run my businesses. I get to trade on the stock market. I get to use it to make money in other ways. And I can run my business. I can go on YouTube Studio at any time and make any adjustments that I need to make to a particular video. I can use it as a camera to make content outside of the home. By the way, I will say this. I got to give props to my smartphone. I don't use it to consume content. I use my smartphone to produce content. I repeat, I use my smartphone to produce content. I do not and refuse to. I refuse to consume content on this device. I use this to produce content, not to consume. So I think I'm on the right track. I'd like to believe I'm on the right track. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way, yeah. It looks like there is so people are predicting that there's going to be like a stock market crash. Let me see here. I mean, I'm not going to lie, the markets crashed really hard today. The Vanguard Total World Index plummeted. And, it's down even further. Vanguard Total World Index crashed even harder. So what I do is when the Vanguard Total World Index crashes, I definitely buy. So here's my theory. I buy when everybody's selling, and I sell when everybody's buying, right? So I buy from the sellers. I buy when everybody's selling, and I sell when everybody's buying, and I'll tell you why I do this. One, if you buy the dip, you have the advantage, in my opinion. Now, when I'm saying buy the dip, I don't mean buy the dip of an individual stock. I think that's actually kind of risky. When I say buy the dip, I mean buy the dip. And this is not financial advice. Talk to a financial advisor. This is just for educational entertainment purposes only. But the reason I buy the dip on the Vanguard Total World Index is because I'm buying the dip of the global market, in a sense. And when I'm buying the dip on the global market, that is absolutely a huge advantage, without a doubt. By the way, does anybody want to buy my Skibbity toilet? No, I'm not gonna lie. Whenever the Vanguard Total World Index is crashing, though, I tend to buy the dip, because here's the thing: what is better than buying the dip of an index that you know is a good index? I really enjoy buying the dip on things like the Vanguard Total World Index, just because I know it's going to go up later. I even love buying the dip on the SBIT because I know that Bitcoin's eventually going to crash when the bull run eventually stops. You know what I mean? So that's my philosophy on it. You know, I'm bearish on things that you deserve to be bearish about, right? I think everybody should be bearish on Bitcoin. Anything cryptocurrency related, I'm surprised more people are not bearish on it. Because that's the thing for me. I want to be bearish on the things that everybody's bullish on. Well, I should say not everybody, because here, it's funny. The crowd can be right and the crowd can be wrong. I'll tell you what. I love investing in things that the government can't print. If anything, most of my portfolio, in fact, all of it, consists of things that are inflation proof. I went as far as to get rid of my bonds as well. At this point in my life, I don't even trust bonds to be a reliable vessel. And I'll tell you why. The reason I don't trust bonds at all, and I'm not saying this as it's not financial advice. I just feel like the Federal Reserve is going to continue to debase the dollar. It's going to ruin and debase the dollar to a point that even if you're getting a yield on the bonds, the principal that you put in doesn't increase. The yield doesn't really increase either on the bond. Now, bonds are great when it comes to nearly guaranteed cash flow. But what's the point of having a 5% gain every year when inflation's like 7 or 8% every year and growing and probably getting crazier? So my philosophy is this. I'm going to invest in anything that the government cannot print. That's my philosophy. If the government can print it, I don't hold on to it. Now, by the way, I am a little bit of a hypocrite there because I do have a certain amount of money in my checking account at all times. But it's a base amount. I have a certain amount of money in my checking account at all times. And this is very strategic because I would rather hold on to money in my checking account, a certain amount of cash, instead of having to hold a balance on a credit card and pay like a 26% interest rate. One of the reasons I don't hold on to credit card debt is because credit card debt is stupid. Why would I do that? I pay every 2 weeks, I pay off every single credit card. And the only reason I use credit cards is for the cashback rewards. I'm consistently getting 3% cash back on every single grocery purchase, even at the Dollar Tree, whenever I use my Robinhood Gold credit card, because I'm going to the Dollar Tree, I'm buying cheap groceries. And yeah. But yeah. That's the way I see the world. I mean, it's a little bit of a different way to see the world, obviously. But, yeah. And I don't necessarily think I'm on the wrong track either with that line of thinking, with that frame of thought. If you guys can, we're currently, and I'm trying not to lose my voice today, we are currently sitting pretty at 6,952 subscribers. I repeat, 6,952 subscribers. You heard that right. If you guys can, you guys could become a subscriber today. Seriously. If you guys tap the subscribe button, it really does help the channel grow in more ways than one, so I really hope you guys tap it. So please subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow. Please like the stream as well. Liking the stream and subscribing to the stream really helps the channel grow in more ways than one. So I appreciate everybody's contribution to the channel. You guys are incredible. But like I said, don't forget to tap that subscribe button, man. I'm telling you, it helps out a lot. If you guys can. But yeah, overall, I mean, one of the main things that I feel is, are we looking at a collapse of society? I'm not too sure at this point. Like, I'm on the fence about that a little bit. So Tristan Allen is saying you need a second PC, my guy. What do you mean by that, Tristan? Tristan Allen is asking you need why do I need a second PC? I mean, I do have another browser. I mean, technically, if I need to, I could always use another browser. Like I use Brave as an alternative. I actually do love using Brave, by the way. I think it's one of the best browsers out there. But yeah, I use Brave as one of my browsers. I was thinking about using Microsoft Edge as kind of like my research browser when I'm doing this, because that way I could look at some of the statistics that I need to look up and all that jazz. So I may use either Firefox, or Edge as my second browser that's not shown on video whenever I'm doing these reaction streams. Nicholas Skinata says, I guess I'll sub. Hey, dude, thank you to Nicholas Skinata for subscribing. I really appreciate it, man. We'll give you a shout out in any way that we can, but thank you very much for subscribing. Also, earlier we had a subscriber, GG Shock.
Laugh out loud.
GG Shock is a subscriber. Thank you so much for subscribing, my brony brother. And then 3 hours ago, we had Angry Little Man Gaming.
Laugh out loud.
Who subscribed, so I want to thank you for subscribing as well. But thanks to everybody. I mean, you guys are legitimately keeping this show alive by subscribing and liking the stream. All it takes is, subscribing if you can, just to help out. And we're almost to 7,000 subs. We're almost there. And everybody's contributing at a high level, and you guys are just incredible for doing what you're doing, man. I appreciate you all for helping me out. I mean that. Unsupervised 2 says it's free to sub, might even get a song. Absolutely. That's why I try to encourage people to subscribe, man, because you never know what you're going to get on this channel. I mean, one day we're talking about politics. The next day we're talking about investing. I'm kind of a renaissance man when it comes to the things that I'm into. You know, I got to admit, I read a lot. I love reading. I really am an advocate for reading. I want to try to encourage more people to read. I think if more people read, they're going to have a better time in life. I just think reading is a good thing, and I hope to encourage it to more people. But yeah, I want to say thank you to everybody who recommended these YouTubers. There's another one I thought of, Angela Rose. She's pretty good. I'm going to have to... We'll have to react to some of her videos as well. So we got Angela Rose. Of course, obviously, Nick Shirley's got to be added to this. Yeah, I can't wait to see what else Nick Shirley unveils. Because I guess supposedly he's going to go to like Ohio at some point. And I guess there's a big problem in Ohio as well. So I can't wait to see it, man. I'm really excited. And yeah, I can't wait to see what other fraud, what other bullshit he uncovers, man. It's exciting. Oh. Okay, so Boneheaded D says you forgot about the constant cuts to the education system. Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. There has definitely been cuts to the education system, but the problem is, by the way, why do you guys think that I'm happy about the Department of Education being cut? Because the Department of Education was responsible for education spending to begin with. And you do realize that there was so many cuts to public education because of the Department of Education. The Department of Education is one of the big reasons that schools are underfunded, if we're going to be honest. Let's not candy coat it. Kids are worse off because of the Department of Education. The Department of Education made things worse. I think that each state needs to be accountable for the public education in their state. I'm serious. It's not up to the federal government to determine how much funds are going to these different schools and what the standard is for each school. Nicholas Canada 3123 says I'm number one. Thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate it. You're the real brony bro, dude. You're a pink brony bro, and you dance at the gay club. Oh my god. Yeah, and GPT says make sure they're learning and not just passing them through. Absolutely, and that's the thing. You know, it's just like the cooking of, you know how like companies will cook their books? Well, a lot of schools will cook their books in the sense they're cooking the grades. So, for instance, students who are otherwise F students that are not doing anything, the F student becomes a C student. The D student becomes a B student. The typical C student becomes an A student. Obviously, the A student is going to remain an A student because there are academic savants. What I'm trying to say is this. I think a lot of these public schools are cooking their books with the grades. I think kids who are actually failing a class are actually not failing classes at all. Do you want to know why that's happening? Because instead of getting the F they deserve, they're actually getting a C plus or maybe even a C minus in passing the classes that they don't deserve to pass. Absolutely, they're letting these kids through. And that's a problem. That is absolutely a problem, man. Oh, yeah, no, it's nearly impossible. It's sad because it's nearly impossible to hire this generation as they're coming out of school. You just can't. The generation is straight up cooked. Yeah. Okay. Hamfast Gamwich is saying conspiracy theory level thought process lol. How is that conspiracy theory? I mean, I'm putting 2 and 2 together. Seriously. It's not. How is any of that conspiracy theory? Because you know what? You want to know why the teachers are doing it? You want to know what the incentive is for the teachers to flub the grades, to cook the grade books, as one would say? Do you want to know why they're doing it? Pretty damn simple. It's because they're afraid that it's going to look bad on them. And even though public school teachers don't ever get fired these days, I don't think public school teachers actually give a shit. So what they want to do is they want to make themselves look good because they're probably an incompetent teacher. So a lot of these F students are becoming C students, not because they're learning any better. It's because their work really is F plus work. But what the teachers are doing is they decided, well, instead of failing them, because they'll have to deal with them again, let's just give them a C plus and let them move on. And it makes sense. I mean, it makes the incompetent teacher look competent, because the otherwise F student. And obviously nobody is auditing any of the teacher's work anyway. Nobody's going in there and auditing anything. So the teachers know that since there's no real audit system, they can cook the books on the grades. So these otherwise F students are actually able to pass these subjects with, like a C. Dr. Andrew Kaufman, oh, okay. We got some more recommendations for other YouTube channels. Thank you, Nicholas Canada 3123. So Nicholas Canada 21321, whatever your name is on there. Let's see. Oh, I like London Real. London Real's pretty interesting. London Real actually has Dan Pena on there from time to time. I love Dan Pena. I think he's a very interesting fella. He's a little bit of a hard ass, but he's a very much an interesting guy and a very successful guy from what I could tell. And he's always been a very, in a lot of ways, an interesting coach to me. I've actually watched some of Dan Pena's interviews and some of his teachings. And, I mean, he teaches you how to be a very... I will say he's not a very nice guy, but he is I think he's kind of the hard ass that you need. As I always say, if you're going to gather mentors, even if you don't have to physically interact with these mentors, here are the types of mentors that people need. You got to have one hard ass, like a mentor who's really hard on you. And then you have to have a mentor who is trying to teach you a skill. And then another mentor who is trying to guide you, is kind of like your spiritual mentor, right? Who's trying to help you get your mind right. So I think you need, those are the three kind of mentors that I've always sought out. And obviously I've never actually met any of my mentors. I've only been able to read their books, watch their interviews, watch their personal videos that they release online. And that's about the extent of it, So I'm probably going to end the live stream here in just a little bit. I'll go live a little bit later. I'll probably end up taking a walk at some point. Vacation Time 24/7 says Garza is my mentor. Oh boy, you poor thing. Garza is my guru. Oh, Vacation Time. I'm going to give you Sunset Heart Hands right now. Thank you, bud. Thank you, Vacation Time. Garza is a top G. I'm a top G. I'm a fucking genius. Top G. Tristan, get me some sparkling water. I'm a freaking genius. I gotta start working on my Andrew Tate impressions because I actually want to do an entire live stream where I just sound like Andrew Tate the entire time and be like, I'm a top G. I'm a top G. You gotta make sure you drink your sparkling water and your Bugatti. You gotta have your Bugatti ready. Christian Medwig says Garza's mentor is the Pillsbury Doughboy. Oh my god, that's the best comment in the world, dude. Christian Christian Medwig might have just won the comment of the year. So Christian Medwig just said in the comment section, Garza's mentor is the Pillsbury Doughboy. That's pretty funny. Legitimately, that might be the funniest. That is the comment of the year. Holy shit, dude. I mean, it's kind of true. I'm built like a refrigerator, man. I'm built like a damn refrigerator. I'm top G. Top G. So Nicholas Canada saying Dr. Andrew Kaufman, Dr. Anthony Chaffee, Dr. Paul Mason. Ty Lopez is kind of hit or miss. Ty Lopez is I'm not going to lie, Ty Lopez is a bit of a grifter. But at the same time, I've actually watched some of his videos, and he did teach a few interesting skills on his videos. So Ty Lopez is not a complete grifter, but he does tend to lean very far towards the grifting side. But there are videos that he's come out with that are not complete grifter slop. You know what I mean? So I will say, yeah, I do want to react to some Ty Lopez videos because there are some things that dude has said where I'm just like, dude, stop it. You're a grifter. Gary Vaynerchuk has become kind of a grifter, but he does have he has good advice on how to maximize the usage of social media. So I got to give Gary Vaynerchuk some props on that, but he is a grifter. When he started talking about NFTs and shit, I was like, I'm out. I'm out, dude. Ty Lopez in London Real is pretty good. Anthony Chaffee. I'm writing them down, man. Andrew Kaufman. I mean, you guys are giving me some interesting guys to. At least I'll have a list of people to react to. That's always fun. Paul, I think if I just turned into a reaction channel, I'd probably get to 10,000 subscribers pretty quickly. I think that's kind of the direction this channel needs to go. So Paul Mason, Anthony Chaffee. Oh, I forgot to write down Anthony. So Andrew Kaufman, Anthony Chaffee. Hold on. Not bad, man. Oh, okay. Let's take a look here. All right, let's see. Can't read or spell. Let's see. So I will say this, though. I want to thank you guys for giving me these this is a great list of people to react to. I mean, by the way, like 90% of the names, actually I'd probably say 80% of the names, 80% of the YouTubers that you provided me, I have zero clue who most of these are. I don't really know who most of these people are. Mainly because I'm not gonna lie, I spend a lot of time producing content. I don't spend a lot of time consuming it. So because I would just rather produce content. There are just two types of people in this world. You're an excessive consumer or an excessive producer. I definitely fall along the lines of very much so an excessive producer. I love producing things at a very excessive scale. It's just really fun to me. I can't really see any other way to do it. Oh man, dude, the Vanguard, just to let everybody know, the Vanguard Total World Index is dropping rapidly. I'm not kidding when I say this, man. That's a buying opportunity right there. Crazy. And then the VOO, which is the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, that one's dipped quite a bit, man. Quite a bit. Which, no shame in that, by the way. Top G. With the VTI, which is, let's see, VOO VTI. That's crazy, dude. Yeah, lots of different ETFs are dropping right now. Yeah, I'm pretty much just swing trading silver and gold at this point, and I did not expect silver and gold to go up so quickly. You know what I mean? Christian Medwig says, Garza, there is a YouTube channel, Fat and Broke. Is that yours? Arthur Lee Kellerman is asking, Vanguard Total Market Index, is it dropping? Yeah. So, and that's a good thing, by the way. I love it when the Vanguard Total World Index is actually dipping rapidly. Look at this. Boom. Now if you ask me, that's a buying opportunity. I know not everybody sees it that way. But whenever an index like the Vanguard Total World Index dips, the more diversified the index and the harder the dip, I honestly feel like it's a better opportunity. I really believe that. And the reason I believe that is because it's true. Buying an entire index on the dip, even if you're just trickle buying into it, is the smartest thing you could do, in my opinion. And by the way, that's just my opinion. None of it's fact. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, but straight up, dude. It's, in my opinion, one of the best buying opportunities is to buy during massive pessimism. And what we're seeing right now is pessimism on a massive, massive, massive scale. But yeah, no, we're seeing, like I said, massive pessimism. It's great. It's a good time to buy, in my opinion. Nope. Hey, baby.
Sissy's out there right now.
Oh, little sissy.
She was playing with her kitty. It was really cute.
With the orange kitty?
Yeah, it was so cute.
How are they playing?
Like they were just like nuzzling on each other, and like she was like at first I walk out and like.
Did you get a picture?
No, I am. But Sissy had like her butt up in the air and her like front paws on the stairs. I was like, what is she doing? And then I saw the orange cat like rubbing on her front legs and on her face. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. So they're all cuddly. And
That's so cool that they're best
I opened
friends.
the door
I
and
love
was
that.
like, Sissy, are you playing with your kitty? And she popped her head up and like literally bounced across the yard and was like, oh, hi.
No, it's so cool. Sissy has a bone now.
Mhm.
So Sissy's got the bone, and I was playing fetch with the bone with her for a little bit when you drove off to go back to work and stuff, and it was really cool. Like just being able to just play. I didn't know that she is now friends with the cat.
Yeah, they like each other.
I was afraid that they might not really jive. Well, at least the cat might be like. But I'm glad the orange kitty's actually like rubbing up on the dog and stuff.
When Sissy ran over to me, the cat was like sitting on the stairs and like had like a grumpy look on his face. Like, you took my puppy.
Stole her. You stole the cat's doggy. But I'm going to end the stream here in just a second and spend some time with you. But no, I just want to say to everybody, the Vanguard Total World Index is down. And so just as a final note, just remember that buying an index on the dip, you don't have to put your life savings down. But anytime there is a dip in an index, especially one that's as massive as the Vanguard Total World Index, especially if you love swing trading, by the way, like I do, buying something like that on the dip really can be super advantageous. So I really don't see, CNBC is going to tell you that an entire index dipping is a bad thing, but when in all reality, it's wild, man. It's wild. Anyway, though, I am going to end the stream for now. Before I go, please tap the subscribe button. We are this close. We are so stinking close to 7,000 subscribers. It's insane. We're currently sitting pretty at 6,953 subs. Once again, 6,953 subscribers. Just the act of subscribing, if you haven't already, really branches us out on the YouTube algorithm, and it allows me to annoy people that I've never even met before. So I really appreciate everybody contributing to the channel the way they have, just really encouraging me. By the way, obviously we have people who come in the chat and get angry at me, and I don't really care. But I will say this, though. The comment of the day definitely has to be Garza's mentor. So Christian Medwig said Garza's mentor is the Pillsbury Doughboy. That is the comment of the day. That's the funniest comment. And it's true. I love the Pillsbury Doughboy. He's an inspiration to me. The dude's an icon. I want to be an icon like the Pillsbury Doughboy. I mean, I already kind of look like the Pillsbury Doughboy. But and I do say hoo-hoo. I can't even do that right now. But the hoo-hoo when you touch my belly. So all right, you guys, I'm out. I will be doing a stream a little bit later. We're going to, jump into some crazy topics a little bit later. We got more subscribers today, which is great. We kicked ass yesterday. We got tons of super chats, which was insane. So I want to thank you guys for the super chats. I want to thank you guys for the gifts. Just everybody's been contributing to the show. We're growing bigger, and the bigger we get, and by the way, it's like a snowball. I call it the subscriber snowball, man. The more subscribers we get, the more unstoppable we get. So the goal is to be unstoppable. The goal is to be cray-cray, all right? So let's be cray-cray, let's be unstoppable, and don't let other people suck away your power, all right? Every one of us has power. Every one of us has abilities. Don't let anybody stop you. And it sounds like some motivational slop, but it's true. It's simple.